That's what and a lady she says we usually call it Cooley Town. So all the listeners in Cooley Town, Coburn, Penn, we say good morning, and it was a privilege just to have ministered in their men's service yesterday. So big up to all of you, and especially to Tanisha. Yeah. hmm
Nisha is a man from the men's
Tanisha,
service.
Tanisha, no.
Tanisha is a man.
Oh, just how we flowed when I
All right, we
minister.
shall interrogate you fully after the break. Please, it's our 6:30 a.m. break, so you know we're taking it on time. You did enjoy the music, so please don't ask me how we take breaks so soon.
That's somebody.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yes, yes.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. Hurricanes can happen, so be prepared.
This is your beloved Pastor Percy from the Morning Connection. Support our commitment to Jamaica by joining us on Wednesday mornings at 7:30 when we pray for the nation. Show us you care. Advertise with us. For more information, call our offices at 876-276-8935.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
All right, Pastor.
Yeah, man. It was a blessed time.
Yeah, welcome back. It was only a short break, Mr. Earl Brown. You know,
Always a
we have to,
complaint.
we got to keep the revenues going, which, by the way, please support us.
It's coming.
Two ways. Support the station by giving us some business all day, not just in the Morning Connection. And the programs that we have initiated, give us your support in whatever way. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we have many things going on. On the 23rd of this month, we are spending some time with the SOS Children's Village, the Stony Hill Village. It is their founder's birthday, and we are spending time just helping them to raise some money and
Much needed funds
and build
because
awareness. Absolutely.
in
All
terms
we
of the
know,
young people
even
under state care.
our own children cost plenty. Can you imagine when you have a number of them in a well, that's not a state. That is
private
right,
yeah.
non-governmental
But it's
institution.
but the
But
state.
everyone that can be accommodated in one of those institutions reduces the burden on the state.
Yeah.
So the truth of the matter is we want to keep as many children out of state care as we can, putting them in homes and putting them amongst persons who have a greater heart for them, more than a duty. And I'm not really accusing the state of being heartless, but the state has less resources, and sometimes the commitment, though it may be there in spirit, it's not there.
And I've
in-
interacted with a lot of those students. Some of them came to us down at Girdstown, the transitional program, and then see me, and somebody ball out and say, Mr. P, principal. I mean, look around and I say, who is that? And they run, come up, and the most of the people I interacted would have been the females who were at that home. Yeah. And they still recognize me, and some of them have come back and said thank you. Because for me, when I was there as head of the institution, the little that you do to one of these, you do unto them. Remember Jesus says, in terms of when I was hungry. Yeah. And that is the call that I call out to us as believers in the nation. You don't know what happens when you just reach out a hand just to encourage somebody, just to touch somebody from the heart. It does so much for them in terms of they remembering. I was in circumstances where that was not too pleasant, but you never put me down. You always sought to lift me up and to encourage me. And it warms my heart when I see them and they're telling me how they have transitioned, what they're doing with themselves. It really is a wonderful feeling, and I'm really grateful. I count it a privilege in terms of touching persons' lives that way. So again, we call out those who are listening out there online, those who are in diaspora. The diaspora conference is on this week. They had a church service on Sunday to have launched it. There's so much we can do just to help, give a helping hand. And I say to government, do what you can to facilitate the diaspora giving back to Jamaicans, because a lot of them want to do it. And let us not have the horror stories of you have container loads of stuff coming, but because it's just out of the goodness of their heart giving, and then it comes and rots on the wharves. Let's not have those horror stories anymore. So good morning, and do what you can to help your fellow man. Sound lyrically? Do what you can to
Yeah,
help
man,
your fellow man.
I'm listening to your lyrical meanderings. Because you were really still saying good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
That is, if somebody give me such a full good morning, they'll have to buy me lunch.
Okay.
So you're buying lunch today.
Okay.
You're taking a break from. Is it from pastoral duties, or how does one take a vacation from the church? Is it
Some
Tell
of the
me how
times
it-
you have to
tell me
take
how
a
it go.
break. You just say, yeah, I just need to take a break to re-engineer, recharge your batteries, to do some things you've not been able to do because it's a constant thing. In terms of for yourself, we call it self-care, soul
Self-care.
care. Yeah, and that's so important.
So the church is in the way of your living.
I wouldn't
The
say
church
that.
work.
No, it's not.
You have to take vacation to do your living. I'm messing with you, Pastor Percival, but I know I am one of the persons who find it very difficult to disengage. But it could be because a lot of the things that I've done for the last umpteen years are the things I want to do.
You're passionate about.
Yes, so as a consequence, I'm never off duty. But I do know that it is important, especially when you have family, you have children, to be able to pull away and give them the 24-hour priority that they truly deserve in your life. So I do hope, though absolutely your time away from the show would be most vexing, I do hope that you plan to have a couple of days where you're not kind of bouncing out at the crack of dawn. Though for that you have to negotiate with your chauffeur client.
Yes, yes, I understand.
When you take leave, you have to take leave from all of the duties that
Yeah.
yeah. I think of all the things that I desired when
Are you applying for leave from the show?
producer want to know if he's
We'll talk-
applying for
talk-
leave.
talk about
Did we
that.
create a form for that, or we'll take a video application and put it to the listeners? Just make it up as we go along. I'm sensing that a video application, that the listeners can weigh in on and vote like how we want to do the festival song competition.
Yes. Yeah, that's something that from Thursday that we should put on. Should we have a festival song? But I'm not really giving up on that, We must have. Can we ask those 102 if you don't have any persons?
123.
Yes.
Oh, well.
Can you just send us your song
So,
and we can do it?
so what's the answer to the vacation question?
I say we speak about it, Mr. Producer. We soon talk about that, man.
I thought that's what we were doing.
No.
Anyway, please be gentle. Remember that anytime now, it would be minutes time to apply.
So we see how that work out.
In fact, somewhere around the first week of July, into solidly the first week, the first 7 days of July are mine.
Okay.
And if you don't make things, if you leave yourself careless, I'll take the whole month. I'm a summer child.
Half of this year.
That's it. That's your birthday week or
It's yes. It took a whole week for me to get here.
are you serious?
No, what do you think my mother is?
No, me ask you because I know people have been in labor for a long time.
No, no, no. My mother didn't labor. For a good part of my childhood, you're learning about things, and you think hospital birth is fancier than home birth.
Mine was home
So
birth.
for a while, I was very curious. Why was I born at home? I'm like, what? Couldn't afford to get me to a hospital. What's up with that?
In those days.
Because, and it's not because it was in the dark ages. So don't use no those days kind of thing. It was not in the dark ages. My older sisters were both delivered
I mean, they had a lot.
in the hospital.
They had a lot.
In- um, yeah, some corny jokes are being made in studio just so you be aware. Like it's not the dark ages. They had a lamp, and they did have many lamps. But I used to ask my mom, why was I born in the hospital? When you have these forms that you fill out, and they want to know place of birth, and I was very literal about it. Okay, they really want to know where I was born. So, like, my sisters would fill out that they were born in Spalding's Hospital.
Okay.
So they were actually born in the neighboring parish because we are from St. Anne, but the nearest hospital would be Spalding's.
Yeah, no.
But I was born in Mount Moriah, home, and no hospital not there. Of course, me figure that I was a home birth. So my mom said that for her first two, when she got the signs and so on, she actually had enough time to get to the hospital. Not so for Minette, who apparently I am of the Israelite stripe for true. You remember how the
two
midwife
rugby's
said,
if you said
The
they're
two-
growing too much. I read it
Yeah.
on the weekend.
Yeah.
So anybody else see come, just kill
Yeah,
them off,
kill them.
especially if they're boys. So you will have not to be in jeopardy.
Listen to me, man. The midwife said that the women are too vigorous.
Yeah,
and they
man.
give-
By the time them go, ready, reach.
By the time my mom got, I think, like she said, she had been doing some laundry, and she was outside, I guess she probably was preparing and the nesting thing. By the time she got a sign and went in to lie in and send word for the midwife.
To come.
When the midwife came, I was already here. She said it was in the afternoon hours and the kids were passing by the house for school, and Minette was present and accounted for.
So that means you were
She
in
had
school
no
from-
time.
You're in school from.
I was in
alright.
uniform. I'm born in uniform.
Hey!
I can tell you, I never liked school. Not one day of school was pleasant to me.
Are you serious?
Oh, school was prison. Prison.
Wow.
Hated school. Cried. I have memories of my mother walking with me to school while I'm weeping. Like they're taking me off.
You
She had
serious?
to walk me to school.
I can't imagine that.
Left by myself.
You would not go to school at all.
Left by myself. I would have just stayed and hang out. No, not hang out, but
Stay at
no.
home and read a
never
book
liked,
or something.
Never liked school.
Because yours is interesting because the
Your
account my
birth
mom was at
yes.
home, but my mom went to work the day and reached home and had me. So she is not like you figure.
Did she know she was pregnant?
Yeah, man, she know she was pregnant. Yes. No, man, she know she was pregnant.
No,
And-
there's some women who didn't
no,
know.
man, my mother knows it because I was a big baby and I was about 10 pounds.
You're overripe.
Yes, so and she
How did she get to work?
well, I guess my father had dropped her cousin to work and she came home and
Wow.
yeah. So that's why I'm working. Because my mom worked right up until the time of my delivery.
All right, Pastor.
So you know that your son was not left at the hospital.
My
right?
what did you say about my son?
He was not left
Co-maker.
at the hospital because he's your right son. He never
Yes.
left school either.
Yeah. Oh, dear Lord. Family secrets. Producer is saying that I know that my son is the right son for me because he has never liked school. Same thing, as we get near the school, he starts to cry. And he knew the way. From he was like 18 months and we're taking him to, Man, when he got near to, all right, Rainbow Land, it wasn't anything you were doing. He knew as we turn and getting, he starts to cry. Yeah, never, 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 never. He's only just now truly loving school, and it's because it's online.
Okay.
Well, first when he went into a gifted program, and oh my lord, we saw actually smiles of joy. That one principal for the gifted program. Good morning, Dr. Diakor. I know you're not listening, but I gotta call your name because she made my son really kind of come together with his like your brain and your body meet,
Okay.
because your body is in one state and your hands are doing a set of things and people are moving you, but your brain is engaged at a different level. She brought the two in unity, and let me tell you, no looking back for that kid. I don't know what did it for me actually. I found school very, very restrictive and limiting, and I resisted it. I never, never, never did like
So you've
it.
been in the resistance movement all your life.
I'm an experienced resistor.
The resistance movement all your life.
But anyway, enough about us. It just kind of entered the spirit to share on that level, because you know what? Many of us continue to either, if we're not burdened by it, we're certainly very curious by it, and we're convinced that it has some significance. The how we were born, the circumstances under which we entered in this world, we know that these things are important because truly none of the time and none of our experiences lack value and meaning. But we're never sure, is it a blessing? Is it well, not a curse, but is it does it inhibit or does it assist? I think it can do whatever you make it do. There are many times when I reflect on my own very agrarian, country, parochial early days. And if I am in the presence of persons who are showing great signs of progress by reason of their
Hard work.
very cityfied, modern early days, I will look at mine and think, oh, would I be better off? But I can choose. I can choose to see the differences in our upbringing as the foundation for diversity in our thinking and greater ingenuity in the solutions that we can create together. Meaning, if all of us come from the same pot,
Thing, same.
then we're only gonna make the same food and we're only gonna think and behave in the
It's a
same
boring
way.
world it would be.
Absolutely. But when I can see that you come from a different point from me, I know how that flavors my thinking. So, I remember on campus, everybody wanted a country girl. I'm not quite sure what you men had in mind about what make country girl extra special. But everybody thought that, yes, man. What was it? Food? They fool.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I will not say who come up with the idea that country girl fool. Suffice it to say, if he married one, I'm sure he has repented of that viewpoint.
No, sir.
Pastor, tell me, what was special about country girls? Even you as an anointed man must have had some ideas.
That never entered into my head, really. I was just so glad to be interacting with different
Any
people
girl.
from different cultures because
okay.
when I was on campus, there was a freshet. That's what you call them, the freshet in our
I
batch.
know.
And you'd get your names, and one other person, I think she's passed now. She was from Trinidad,
Yes.
and she was at this smile that just broke your heart. And she was a good friend of mine. And so there was Trinidad friends who came from Kingston, Mandeville.
Pastor, you're not gonna get away with the heartbreaking smile. May I tell you from now.
The heartbreaking smile. She
Even
wasn't-
in the
she-
break, others are gonna return to it.
No, I'm saying no, not break.
It warms your heart. It doesn't break
Not,
it.
not but that's probably wrong.
Okay with the
Her her smile broke all the tensions. That's what I'm meaning. If you felt uncomfortable or anything like that around her, her smile just warmed your heart. That's a better thing in terms of saying it. But yeah, and there was a group of us because when you're on campus, you would be part of a cook group. So I was the only male in a cook group that had a lot of females. So, and I could cook. So everybody had to cook different days. And I recall some of the times there is one female. She always took a set at me in the group, and I said, "Come on."
She thought you were a country boy.
No, she never think so.
I mean, just a wonder.
I was born in Black River, but I was not a country boy. Most of my time.
You were born in Black River?
Yes,
All right. Okay.
I was born in Black River.
I don't know why I thought you were born in, St. Catherine. Because you're always.
Speaking about there, because
Yeah.
most of our lives, well, I was born there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as you talk about people's origins and how people's circumstances affect them, I what came to mind was Jabez. And it's from First Chronicles 4:9. And Jabez was more honorable than his brethren, and his mother called his name Jabez, saying, "Because I bore him with sorrow." That's the thing. That's the background. And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that thou wouldst bless me indeed, and enlarge my coast, and that thine hand might be with me, that thou would keep me from evil, that it may not grieve me." And God granted that which he requested. So my encouragement out there to everybody, do not let the circumstances of your birth or where you come from determine what you become in life. Some of us use that as a crutch. Because I was born here, there are so many things against me. But you lift up your prayer today and call out to the God of Israel, the God of Jamaica, that indeed the blessings of the Lord would be on you, and that he would enlarge your territory, enlarge your influence, and so on. So that's how God responded
To Jabez's prayer.
yeah.
But if Jabez had been born a prince,
He
wouldn't have prayed that prayer.
Yeah.
And I'm always sort of careful to emphasize that whatever the circumstance of your birth, use it as fuel for greatness.
Correct.
I put it that way because it's really impossible to tell a person not to let the circumstance of their birth determine what they become. Because really what we want is for the circumstance of your birth to be used to push you to greatness, not to limit you in any way. And that's really a function of what happens in the spirit. Because your spirit is not confined by your physical circumstances. You can be in prison and put yourself anywhere in the world that you want to be. You can be under great oppression and transport yourself to a place of freedom. And that is what we speak about and what we engage when we ask for the shalom, peace. The peace of God that allows you to be at ease in the midst of a battle. You're fighting, but you still find time to smile. When this is something that I stand right now outside of myself and I look down at my little group of warriors when we were in the thick of the battle with this carousel story, which has not ended. I would see us at there were two restaurants that we favored. That's where we would go to regroup and to recover. And I can see us, four of us, sitting at a table. This is the two families that made up the business, sitting at a table, eating and laughing. And there were many times that I said, "Oh my gosh, when the enemies look and see that these people are laughing, genuinely having fun, because," and you know what we were discussing? Battle strategy and wounds and scars. And when we saw the full press that the government engaged in to destabilize us using everything, the banking community, the political machinery, the media was in on it, when we saw the effort that they were going to, and it was just the four of us, I said, oh my goodness, if we were a bigger company, more well established or whatever, we'd have fallen because many persons would have been points of weakness. But the four of us held together like a drum and just looking on. I look back at us and I see us sitting, laughing, having an easy time in the midst of the most horrendous and horrible experience that I have. I mean, I remember giving an interview and the journalist asked me something and I started to cry. I was speaking and I said, this has got to be. I was thinking about independent Jamaica. And since this is our 60th year, I was sitting in our conference room and I was thinking about what it meant for a nation to be independent, what it meant for the people of that country to step forward and say, I will do this business. Because you understand how it is. On that day, you're looking at your economy, which the people have walked away from you now, and persons need to take up responsibility for different things. And there we are saying, okay, we're going to get into technology and communications. We had spent a lot of time looking at how this particular technology would have affected education, health, access to market for farmers. Because I'm a country girl, so I never stop thinking about how I can advance the interest of people from the parts of Jamaica where I come from. So I'm always thinking, okay, how are we going to influence these things with the technology that we're deploying? And we were so excited. And to step out with some encouragement from government, they gave us licenses and so on and so forth. And here we are in an independent nation, and my own government is telling me that a neighbor to the north has said those people are not good enough. And I saw all the effort that was put into demonizing those connected to us. People were being warned away from us. Lawyers are lose them visa. And when I saw the effort that was being put into stamping us out, I declared it. I said, this is the most shameful thing to have happened in this country since independence. And I started to cry.
The most shameful thing?
To have happened in this country since independence. That Jamaicans look like me, female, because I was at the heart of it, black people stepping forward and saying, built in Jamaica for Jamaicans. Wow. And our own government crush us like roach on the sidewalk, like roadkill, crush us. And when they thought the body was dead, but it was still looking like signs of life, they came in with guns and then they tore it down. That hadn't happened as yet when I cried before the camera. That hadn't happened as yet. And more was to come. I didn't know it. I thought the way they came at us was shameful. I said, for an independent country to do this to its own people, shame, shame, shame. I start to cry. Oh my goodness. And with the tears coming in, I'm trying to still keep speaking. I think I managed it. I was trying to pull that clip from everywhere. One of the reporters started to cry. Yeah.
You want it started to cry?
Oh, yes.
Filled with
Let me tell you, the
compassion.
room went.
You could feel the energy draining
Yes.
out of it.
And I was well made up because determined to do a very professional job. I started to cry, Percy. You know, like how you cry easily. If you were there, the two of us would be weeping. It was a sad day. Sad, sad day. So I don't know how I got into that.
But
Didn't
spiritual
mean to.
sister. Spiritual.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. But the point I'm making is still, whatever your circumstances, use it to push you forward to greater heights. When they say you can't look back at your mother, if she barefoot, put her, and if she never barefoot, still make her barefoot. Look at her with her tie head and just understand that that's where you came from. And when you're seeing yourself at the height of wherever you desire to be,
Remain humble.
look back and know that anything can happen. You have to say with God.
The book signing.
Yes, the book signing, yes.
Because I gotta write a book.
Right, you can write a book. That's one of the reasons why I took this. I need to finish a couple of books.
Personal and professional.
Yeah. Oh, Earl Brown said, what independence? All right. Before we take the break, I have to share a joke that Delroy Henry has given first-hand experience concerning this point. I've heard many persons speak of it. He says he remembers when he and his friends were coming home from school in Jamaica, and an overseas traveler stopped them, and asked the name of the road, and they said Hagley Park Road. The lady said, was it a lady? The reply was, "You Jamaicans speak so bad. I'm sure it must be Pigley Park Road." He said, "We laugh until we cry." Best FM, shout out to the world.
You know, it was.
I have heard people say that, but I always thought it was just one of those made up things.
No, but it says it's Hagley Park.
Hagley
Road.
Park Road.
And the lady is Hogley Park.
Oh,
Because
Hogley.
it's probably say Hogley.
Hogley.
Hogley. Hogley.
All right, we're gonna work our way through Swine Park Road during the break.
Pigley Park Road, that's a new one. Oh my.
I've heard that one before, but I always thought it was made up.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Government must take me for idiot. How am I better off if them a go roll in me allowance them and tax them? That don't make no sense. How? Lord Cheryl, you get caught up in that too? Where your pay slip there? See it here. Show me how that possible, Miss Know It All.
Alright, follow me. You get $106,250 for your basic pay every month. See your allowances here, which add up to $23,500. You don't pay income tax, but you pay NIS, pension, NHT, and education tax. That amount to $15,661.
Alright, may I follow you?
Alright, now. Your total net pay for the month is $114,089.18. Now, let's say under the new compensation system, your annual basic pay is $2.7 million for the year. And this amount absorbs the 3 allowances them where you used to get. Meaning, you get one money. I remember now, them can't pay you less than what you did I get before. That's not possible. You will pay tax on the difference with more than 1.5 million because that is the threshold. So you pay NIS, pension, NHT, little income tax, and education tax. That add up to $47,656.
Then that no more tax than what me did I pay.
Yes, but no more money you get now. Stay with the thing now, my girl. So after your statutory deductions, pension, and NIS, your new net pay will be $177,340.50. That no more money than what you did earn when you add up your basic pay and your allowance them.
Yeah, not true. Well, no, that's about $60,000 more a month, right?
Yes, and if it was a case, say, when them put you upon the new compensation system, your compensation higher than the level where you're in, you would get a temporary non-taxable allowance, cause them can't make you worse off. You follow me? So don't worry yourself, my girl. Just wait till you get the official information.
Why, thanks you, Michelle. Never go buy your lunch out of the retro money, cause now what? April 1 it's effective.
The preceding explanation on the new public sector compensation was brought to you by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Visit mof.gov.jm to learn more.
The Hybrid Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference will be held June 14 to 16 under the theme Reigniting a Nation for Greatness. Join us online at Access or Plenary Discussions, Virtual Marketplace, Fast Track Government Services Online, Diaspora Hubs, and our exciting entertainment package with featured speaker Microsoft Chief Digital Officer Jackie Wright. Be a part of this Jamaica 60 global event. Register now at no cost at mfaft.gov.jm/JA60 Diaspora CONF.
AGD Pensioners, our mobile unit is coming to you. Meet us in your parish from Monday, June 6 to Friday, June 17. Collect and submit your life certificates. Get them certified on the spot with a valid ID, or just come for customer service support. See you in St. Thomas on June 6. On June 7, we'll be in Portland and St. Anne on June 8. In St. Mary, June 9. In Trelawney, June 10. St. Catherine Pensioners, the AGD will see you on June 11. On June 13, we go to St. Elizabeth. 20th, Hanover on June 14, and to Westmoreland on June 15, Manchester on June 16, and to Clarendon on June 17. For more information, visit our website at treasury.gov.jm. What does a student in Augustown, St. Andrew have in common with a small business owner in St. Catherine? How about a farmer in Treadlight, Clarendon, and a firefighter in St. James? Each has a unique story about how the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, has transformed their life for the better. For over 2 decades, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund has changed the lives of Jamaicans through its projects and programs. They've supported tourism and agriculture, expanded school spaces, and made safe paths for children to walk to school. JSIF has also improved community infrastructure, boosted small businesses, bolstered Jamaica's response to natural disasters, and so much more. With the help of their partners, JSIF continues its mission of investing for community development. A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Come in, my DJ, and give the people the information. Hear this, if you're a hurricane come, you have to go through a list of things where you need and things where you have to fix, like your roof, your doors and your window them. Buy your nails, hooks and fasteners and fix them. Get your hammer, your pliers, your rope and your wire. Stock up with ply and a whole heap of lumber. Plastic tarpaulin and plastic bag. Kerosene stove and a coal stove. Kerosene lamp, matches and candle. Yo, trim the tree them and clean the drains. That's how you prepare before a hurricane. Be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Better listen to ADPEM. A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Vegam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vegam Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
I really do have to compliment Best FM on that beautiful advertise with us advertisement. And I want to know, if people can tell me, can we just put it on some other radio stations, put it on TV? I've never really heard other radio stations advertising there. I'm assuming that you just need to buy a spot. I'm going to try it. There should always be a first. All right. Pastor Percival, I know that you're in vacation mode, and quite honestly, it's infectious.
It is?
Yes, I feel like I should be in vacation mode.
Time not coming. Your time will come. Remember, she's put us on guard the first week in July. She's out on vacation. But as we go to the news...
what news are we going to?
Are we looking at this morning's paper? Or Sunday's
Pastor,
paper?
it's 8
Friday?
minutes past 7. So if you want to talk about something that's in the paper, by all means, please go ahead. But don't take us to the news.
It's not good news. It's bad news.
What? No, come on. Share what you want to share.
No, I was just reflecting on this morning's headline in terms of of football and more sport for peace in Grand Spain.
Mhm.
And I just want to big up Pastor Ian Muirhead from the Upper Room Community Church, who did a lot of work in terms of that initiative. Because in a former life, I was director of sports for a ministry that used football, netball, cricket, basketball in terms of reaching out to our communities, in terms of persons in the church engaging persons in their community, because we are a sports loving nation. And he had entered a team, and at that point in time, the configuration was that you could, if you have a team of 11 persons playing, 60% of your persons were supposed to be Christians, and the other 40 would be non-Christians. And use that to engage. Everybody wanted to play football, so you do rules like no use of indecent language, the gentlemen having to participate in some ministry at the church at some point in time. And he says, I think with what's happening in Grand Spain, I could use football, especially working with the very young. And so he, with his own funds, and after that with the PMI, Peace Management Initiative, did something in terms of football, especially for the youngsters. And that was a major influencer in terms of breaking the violence and reaching the young men at an early age. So big up to him in terms of the church engaging the community, not in, you'd say, the normal preaching ways, but going outside of your normal ways of doing it to engage the community. And it has worked. It has worked. It has worked and continue to work. So big up to Ian in terms of the work that you've done in the community, reaching out and touching people where they're itching and scratching.
Maybe the week before we had been talking about that scripture in which Christ said that when the Holy Spirit comes, he will convict
the world
that they have been wrong about sin
and how people
about
sin.
righteousness and about judgment. He explained what he meant by judgment. Sorry. But for sin and righteousness, he didn't elaborate. Wow. Something just
in your throat.
Try to. The point your comments about the football and sports and its ability to be transformative at a moral level, high moral level. Oh gosh, this is terrible. I'll have to speak in tongues to clear it.
To clarify it.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the areas in which we have been. Wow. I mean, you even said that you use it in a way that is outside of the normal preaching. I think
we were lambasted for it,
But I think interacting with persons in their everyday existence
is how it
and
is.
making
That's how
that
Jesus
change,
did it.
That is the natural way.
That's how Jesus did it. In terms of it. And I remember the early days. In terms of doing sports and ministry, it is sports that has taken me. Some of the times I talk about my travels in sports. I've been at the Olympic Games, the IAAF, World Athletics Championship. It is sports that has allowed that, because whether we like it or not, a significant amount of people participate in sport, whether as spectators, as participants, or support staff, and you're able to impact them in a way just by being around them and not being judgmental. And our greatest obstacle, I must say, was the persons who are in the church. We say, you can't do that, man. What is that? That is the world of the devil. And so it was rough. But I know of persons whose life has been transformed just by using sport, and some persons who are ministers today. I know of one in a couple of denominations who attest to just, there was a group of guys who were playing football every Saturday, and then he wanted to play for. I say, come. And then over time, he discovered that they were believers. And then through that, because that was his contact point, he's now a minister in the church and doing other stuff. So sports has its impact. And two, it helps in terms of bringing down the violence in our communities, in terms of allowing the young men, the young ladies to participate in wholesome activity that can be very intentional in terms of shaping their values and their attitudes in terms of stuff. Yeah. Good morning
All
to
right.
Toronto. Welcome.
Oh, yeah, but I want us to dive a little bit into the report of what was the situation in Grand Spen. And I'm kind of encouraged to speak on it, despite my voice trying to abandon me. I'm encouraged to speak on it because it is very much a useful template for bringing change. We had Minister Homer Davis speaking about the police and gangsters sitting together, an idea that I think just about everyone, including some unworthy persons, have spoken against it because it really is just it's it has no place in what we're doing now. Grand Spen had gone through a period where 30 persons were killed violently over a 1 month period. They have over 6,000 residents. Delroy Chuck, who has represented them for the past 25 years, had got to the point of even saying there was like no movement in Grand Spen. For a spell, after 5 p.m., the roads were just empty. He's the one now commenting on this major change. He said it was a long and painstaking process to bring gangsters to the table to discuss peace and the way forward. It started with a football competition where all the areas that were in conflict played together. This initiative received, and it was the politician who led it. He says Chuck's initiative received support from P.J. Patterson, and the kickoff was done by Governor General Howard Cook. During the competition, Chuck said the teams would march around the community promoting peace. He said that the community police management group played a pivotal role in ensuring that conflicts were peacefully resolved. So that's like restorative justice at the community level. The peace did not come easily. It has been sustained. We must not lose it. Sorry. And he continues. A partnership between private sector entities and obviously taking place at the community level. The church played a role, as Pastor Percival was saying, Pastor Ian Muirhead being significant in that process. What does it tell us? What's this template really that we're talking about? It goes back to the community. When you are a member of a football field team instead of a gang member, because their MP says gangsters, but I'm sure when they came in their ordinary capacity as just a member of a community seeking to build a platform. So there's like a non-judgmental approach. That's why Christ said we're wrong about judgment. When they come and when you are looking at them as men and women just seeking to live in a more peaceful environment, you're not demonizing them or judging them as gangsters. Which, I mean, at that time, there was no anti-gang legislation, which meant that just by being a member of a gang, you had committed an offense.
Team.
You did. You built a football team. Yeah. Still a lot more for us to do in that direction. There is a cash flow crisis that has made the headlines. One of our listeners, Neville, has been saying for a long time that there is not enough cash in circulation to meet the needs or to settle the obligations that are out there. In large measure, he has laid it at the feet of the interest rates and what the banks are doing. Every time you have to, well, let's look at it this way. Interest is generated by simply money being at work over a period of time. Interest as an income source or as a revenue source is not tied in any way to any productive
Anything
activity.
productive at all.
Money, paper, does not produce, and it can't even give birth. If you put down $2 bills side by side and
can't
leave
give
them
you a-
there, they will not give you 10 cents.
Give you a new $10.
Precisely. Nothing they do sitting there is going to create anything. Whereas if you take a seed of wheat and put it in the ground, it will die and give you many. I'm just explaining. So when most of your revenue, your income, the wealth is attributed to the time that the money is in the field, there is no hardcore wealth, there's no grain of wheat, there's no nugget of gold, there's no additional banana or ginger or anything that can be put aside under that. It is just the passage of time which causes interest to increase. It's not real money.
It has not been so far for a long time, which
Ah.
is what people are saying, even in the States. That
But
the release
where it
of-
affects things is if you had $10 in circulation, and when you put those first $10 out there, it represented 10 pounds of banana or 10 pounds of weed. And that money is out there for a year, and the interest rate causes it to be worth $20, just for argument's sake. Where that extra $10 going to come from to satisfy your $20 interest payment?
Printing more money.
Just so you end up printing more money, but that is
what has
not
been happening.
backed by. So the banks are holding the cash, and there's no value to back it, which means until it comes back out of the bank to be circulating in the society, you're gonna be short of cash unless the bank print more money like the US people did.
That's what they're doing, and that's what we are doing too.
So, cash flow crisis in Jamaica. The government has been accused of not paying its bills and leaving security firms specifically in a tax dilemma.
Well, coming to collect the man, coming to collect.
They are coming to collect, absolutely. I mean, and they are very disciplined in how they come to collect. They're so disciplined that person's mother, who worked as a tax officer, couldn't even take time off to go and
Leave
have
her alone. Leave Miss Blossom alone.
and Miss Blossom had to give birth right after she come home from work. And that was many years ago. And they're still very efficient these days, tracking you for money. But no, I mean, I actually had, can you imagine, after they shut down our business, the taxman called me to inquire about tax for the company that they had shut down. And I was saying, how would we even pay tax? What would we use to pay the tax for the very business that you have shut down?
You're gonna turn blood into.
Yeah, so listen, I love it that it has made front page news so that Jamaicans can begin
aware.
to make the connections.
Production.
The same government that is stripping you down for tax, shaking you down, they don't pay their bills on time. And guess what? They're not paying the police. They're not paying the teachers properly. Teachers are under such stress now that they're declaring war on students. That's how I put it for what happened in Tivoli. More is coming out, but you can see it is an overall stressful situation. And when you find well-thinking adults, I'm assuming they're well-thinking, beginning to side with a grown woman taking fists towards a 16-year-old student, you must understand that everybody else under pressure too. I've seen a lot of comments on social media. My niece threw something into the pen and we've been watching people attack it. She put out a statement on social media and we've been watching the comments. How many comments you said had come in? Over 90 odd comments had come in. A lot of them saying, a lot of them treating the teacher as a hero and saying the boy out of order. And
out of order for true.
Yes, he's out of order, but not enough persons are recognizing that she too ought not to have gone so far.
Yeah, but
Some persons are just solidly saying things too hard. We have it too hard. If a man moves towards us, whether it is a boy or a man, we're entitled
take
to
him out.
Yes. that a lot of people are at that place, and that is exhibiting a degree of frustration. That is a last straw that broke the camel's back, kind of. Yeah.
Take him out.
So when you see that that's where the national psyche is, you've got to know that the pressure is mounting, and we have to be very careful now, because we are all going to be making decisions in small situations are going to become very big problems.
Yeah, but
It is so bad that a madman was able to scare off 5 gunmen with a piece of hose and his mouth, because he
I can just have the hose.
work.
Just have the hose and the man come out and
And I
just hold
said,
it
pow,
up.
pow, pow.
Look up, pow.
Look like Percy has done that, you know. But look at that. It's an important lesson. Even the gunmen are under pressure. Even their own minds can't hold together. Well, we're thankful for that.
I mean, it was so.
Yeah, but it's very scriptural what happened with those gunmen and the one madman. Because we know that when God intervenes in a battle, you hear things that don't exist.
You know, it's true. That is a record of scripture.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. And it's
Gideon.
always, absolutely, it's always a very small force against a larger force coming victorious, because something that they don't quite understand happened and the enemy turned tail. And it always involved the enemy turning tail, and the enemy never stay to realize that the force is inadequate, you know.
Yeah.
Him always run.
It's
So
important.
it was very interesting
and
to
as
see
we
that.
talk about the whole thing of guns, how brother allegedly killed by sibling after pulling gun on mom.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Well, we've been praying against domestic violence.
Yeah. Beat
And
up your mother and tell her all kind of things and go pull the gun, and little brother said, no man, that's the heights of disrespect. So him take him on. Can you imagine how enraged that younger sibling was?
yeah.
It's the heights of that, you know. You pull gun per mom.
Well, yeah, but you know, this young, I don't know what age, they haven't said, but it speaks to his mental state when after it happened. Because it said, it said that the younger brother who did it, let me see how they described it. It is reported that the younger brother went into shock.
Yes.
Ran from the scene. He later turned himself in and the weapon to the police, but the community was exultant because that man who died had been a bane to their existence. But you know,
unfortunately,
I guess it's the best possible end to a terrible situation. But it really does put us on guard that when we see things happening in communities, that's why we talk about being empowered and developing that boldness and that audacity to challenge things.
Take it on.
Yeah. That 46-year-old man was a menace to the overall community. They talk about him being... They have reason, they say, to believe that he was behind a number of armed robberies that had been taking place in the community, and that the same firearm which he pulled on his family members was the weapon being used to commit crimes. The truth of the matter is, and while we encourage you to be strong, we know we're not encouraging you to be foolish. And when you begin to, if you don't have the boldness of spirit to move, set your actions on the same course, just begin to pray and build your courage and your reserve to get to that point. God will intervene.
He always does.
And he there's a phrase that I hear lots of people use. You pray that God will meet someone at the point of their need. He will meet you at the point where you truly want to accomplish something, but you're short in either the courage or the resource department. When you get to that place where you have the wholehearted commitment to do it, and all you need is something else, he provides this something else. But you really got to, you really have to want to do it.
You have to sum up the courage. That's why when we pray, I tell people all the time, you know, when you pray, you believe that God exists and that He is. Because He says, you must believe first that God is, and He's a rewarder of them that seek Him. So going into prayer, and people say, I want to pray too much. My thing in terms of prayer is where I am communicating. I'm getting inspiration. I'm getting revelation as to solutions. having believed that God really is and He has answered me, then with the revelation and the ideas that He has given me, I move into action because I have faith to cause that to happen. And so for a lot of people, it is a spiritual thing because the answers are there. Now, we have to have the courage to step out and to do the things that we believe that God has done and has instructed us to do, like a Martin Luther King Jr. and some even ordinary people that you come in contact with on a daily basis. They are just not standing still. They've not been paralyzed by fear, but they are stepping out in faith and knowing that this is the right thing to do, even for some of them, the cost of their lives, but they are willing to move forward and do what needs to happen. Just to switch gears a bit, we were talking about BOJ and government. Clark backs BOJ breach of contract blackout. People are asking how much money we spend to do this reprinting, and no answers not coming to the fore. The only thing that they have quoted is that between 2019 and 2021, $7 million was spent per annum to do this. The question is, you're changing out everything. What are you doing? Why can't we be transparent in terms of things that concern us? And somebody was saying this printing of the new banknotes is related to the cash crisis that the government is facing.
Oh, they might try sneaking some extra money.
Yeah.
All right, let's take the break, please. It's 7:30 a.m. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Easy! Let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, lies prefer to truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Don, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith. God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record Label at Gmail. Almighty Jah!
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back to the Morning Connection. I don't often have the opportunity to endorse any statement coming from the Reverend Ronald G. Thwaites.
But you're being
from the
gracious.
Time, yeah, well, truth is truth.
It is a part of your nature to be gracious.
Oh, thank you, Percy. I see vacation hasn't affected you. Your generosity has increased.
You're a gracious person, my dear sister.
I am.
Yes,
There are some people say I'm feisty.
Well, that never go there. So you're a gracious person. With all of what is there, you are a gracious person.
Say she's feisty. No, but we've been troubled by that statement coming from she's going to be a minister that we talk about a lot because of the constitutional and legal reform ministry. And her appalling presentation in which...
Appalling presentation.
Yes,
you expected better?
Well, you know that I am generous and gracious, so I did expect better.
Okay.
I did. You remain hopeful that if you have a portfolio of work, you wouldn't be so one-sided in your statements that persons could just constantly anticipate. I don't think anyone really expected better, to be truthful, because she's consistently been the person to advise the government in some very harmful ways. Boy, I tell you, as I say it, I just remember from the Old Testament kings who had these advisors who just never gave them any good
Rehoboam.
advice. Oh, not to mention him. And she does have, I suppose, the youthfulness to fit in that mold. But she, there's some things she recommended that are unworthy, even to be repeated, lest somebody it find new traction. But when she sought to mimic the appeal of what's the name of the great lawyer who defended O.J. Simpson, now dead.
If there's something fit it.
If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Yes.
Something about if you're on gun charge, you can't be at large. To me, even the attempt to put comedy into so important an issue while you are seeking to take away
People's
fundamental rights and freedoms speaks to just how misguided and how off point she is on these matters. So everybody knows that I do not hold her in high esteem. I don't. And she just continues to distinguish herself in some appalling ways. That was just outrageous. You can't reduce people's rights to, little sound bites and think it's cute. And when you do those things, you are really inviting fate to give you a certain kind of experience. And I'm not going to prophesy on the poor lady, because there are things that have happened to me that I don't wish on my worst enemy.
That's why you're a gracious person.
Yeah, because my enemy may not even be able to call on what I call on to overcome it, and they would fall, and it is not the will of God that any should fall.
And it should perish, but that all should come into repentance.
All should come into repentance. So that aside, having made that comment or made a presentation in which she says the Bail Act will look at removing the right of bail. Now, understand that the right to bail is a constitutional right, which is not a created right. It is merely recognition of an inalienable right, because you are presumed innocent until proven guilty, and because you are entitled to due process. So you can't be treated as being guilty without due process. And in the absence of due process, your presumption of innocence stands and speaks for you at all times. And you have the right to remain silent. So when you stand before a judge to seek bail, you don't have to say in that bail application the things that you don't even have to say in trial.
Mm-hmm.
Judicial discretion is what we count on for fairness and some sense of equity in the grant or refusal of bail.
Mm-hmm.
Because the judge must have sufficient material to exercise his or her discretion on whether society, the accused person, the victim of whatever crime has occurred, how they will be served in how bail is treated. And sometimes the person ought to get bail, but for their own safety, they need to remain behind bars, because if you put them out there, they are at risk. When you take away judicial discretion, you are trespassing not just on the presumption of innocence for the accused person, you are also now stepping into the arena where the separation of powers should keep the executive separate from the judiciary. Every time you take away something from the judge, every time you take away discretion from a judge, you are now using your executive power or your legislative power to speak on issues which, per our constitution, should remain in the purview of the court, the judicial system. So
Separation
when
of the courts.
separation of powers,
Yeah,
yes, where the
important.
judiciary and the executive branch and the legislative branch operate in their own silos, so that you don't have the state, because this is where you're going now. The state investigate and prosecute persons who are accused of wrongdoing. When they can use the legislative branch to begin to treat the accused person as a convicted person just from the time you charge them, you are now becoming judge. You're now
Julian,
becoming
everything you want.
investigator, judge, and executioner, because you are now imposing a sentence of imprisonment on a person who has only been charged. They've not been convicted. So the separation of powers was meant to ensure that the state could not be judge, jury, and executioner in any one instance. That's why the powers are separate. So you have judicial review laws that allow you to go to court. The judge is like the arbiter. The court, the judiciary, is the arbiter, stands in the middle to ensure that there is fair play amongst the other arms. So every time you take away something from the judiciary, you are giving more power to one or other of the two
So
arms.
like a totalitarian state, isn't that?
Yes, that's where you're moving to,
And
where
but people have called out
political will. So now you see that the politicians, the administrative side is under pressure to make good decisions and to be effective in running our business. When they come under pressure and they want to look good, they say, all right, you carry some of the weight. I heard Mr. Fitzbailey saying the police can't do it alone. Everybody needs to do their part. So now the judges need to give up some of their power, meaning take away the discretion from them and put it in a law. And the police now have more power, because understand it, how it moves, it's a transfer of energy. It don't dissipate, it don't disappear.
That's
if it
how
move from
universal,
one hand, it go over to the other. So when
Just
you take
conform to
away
anything,
wherever you put it, it
of-
fits
yeah,
in the absolutely.
energy.
So when you take it from the judge, you take away the discretion from the judge. You use the legislature to take away some power from the judge. It goes into the hands of the police.
And they are saying, and the first point is, energy is not destroyed. It
Yeah,
is just
let's use
converted.
physics.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's converted from one form to
To another.
And so what they are seeking to do is to move it all into one place, not destroy it. It's the same thing that they are seeking.
Yes,
to
you take it from the judge where it is called judicial discretion, and where it gonna go? It's gonna go into the police, and there it's gonna be called excessive or abuse of power.
But and
Because they're just gonna charge anybody, and if you wanna hold a man in jail, you just say murder.
and then even as we move,
Or you manufacture a gun. So now you're gonna see a lot more people are gonna say, "I didn't have a gun. The police put it there." Because that's the nature of things.
it's the nature of man's heart.
Yeah. So let me say what Ronald Thwaites said, which I forgot. That's where I started. Mr. Thwaites has made a point in his article on restoring order. He says, instead of taking away judicial discretion and disrespecting fundamental freedoms, and if we want to show respect for victims, because Mr. Bailey again made the astounding statement that victim rights more important than accused man's rights. Well, I think he said criminal rights, because of course you want to convict and call the person a criminal just at the point where you have charged him. So in the mind of society, when you say the victim's rights more important, you're not thinking of more important than the rights of an innocent person, because we are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So when you're talking bail and you say victim rights more important, you're saying the rights of a victim is more important than the rights of an innocent person, me who never do her nothing, just because she's hurt. Her rights are more important than my rights.
She has accused me of something.
And sometimes she hasn't accused. Sometimes the police do investigation. Because remember, there are some victims who don't know who assaulted them, who don't know who did whatever harm they've suffered. Their harm is real. The police does some investigation and say, is Pastor Percy do it? And the police is going to say, and the police is going to say to me that the victim's rights are more important than Pastor Percy's rights, and Percy is innocent. That's what the headline was, victims' rights, more important, which tells you that when you give them the power to make certain decisions too early in the game, it is going to be abused. The whole theory behind separation of powers is to prevent abuse. So
The truth.
Ronald Thwaites has said, if you want to show respect for fundamental freedoms, show respect for victims, then what you should do is arrange for all gun and murder trials to begin no later than 3 months after arrest. Why can't we make that happen?
Do we have the will to do it? Because to my own mind, just examine what is happening. There is a movement, not only in Jamaica, but worldwide, when you read what is happening internationally in another place, to just take away all of your rights and put it in one place. Say, you as an elite can determine what happens. If I begin to speak out against injustice and all the things they are seeking to do, let's put a label on him. Let's call him out. There's no proof, but I'm going to say, it's like what happened with COVID. And some people are saying, no, there are other ways we can look at it. And you know what they did? Because I'm saying, have we examined this scientifically? I became an anti-vaxxer. That's a label that was put on me.
Yes.
Not listening to anything that I've said. I become an anti-vaxxer, which is not true.
The moment you don't fall in line.
That is what is happening. And we are not saying that guns and violence is not a problem in our society. But there's a way that we can deal with it to ensure that there's a proper tension between what was originally envisioned between separation of powers. Because the truth is, and let us be real, you talk to a lot of people on the street. You talk to a lot of people who are in different positions, and they say one of the challenges that we're having in our country is that too many people who you see and think that those persons are persons of integrity, they are not, because they have been compromised in some way or another. And in order to so-called fix the problem, that they're looking good in the eyes of the public, they're not dealing with themselves. They're not taking an internal look to see, what can I fix to make this better? We're putting it out there and putting it on the people, because people are so driven by their emotions, what happens on social media and everything, and not looking to see what the real issues are and go to the source of the problem in a truthful manner. Be the iron constitutional reform. But that, I think, is the source. And they say the truth will set, you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. We're not after the truth, really. We're after something else, but a real truth.
We're after power.
Yeah.
Power and control.
Of persons.
In the study of law, we are taught that when you're making laws, you look at the mischief which you are seeking to cure.
Yes.
And you devise a strategy or an instrument that is appropriate to that mischief. So if we're saying too many criminals are on the street, meaning they are actual people breaking the law, are on the street, then the way to cure that is to bring them to trial, convict them, and have them in the right place.
Correct.
So your strategy wouldn't be to say, you wouldn't be going lower down in the field and saying, oh, too many people who are on bail commit offenses. If you're using the Bail Act to cure the larger problem, then that is the wrong remedy, because the Bail Act was put in place in the first instance to give meaning to the presumption of innocence.
Correct.
So if you start to trim that or to address that as the cure for the larger problem, you are not going to get a cure. In fact, the Bail Act is a remedy, you know. The Bail Act was there to protect the presumption of innocence and to ensure that certain arrangements are in place to give meaning to the rights of accused persons, because there's a whole big section in the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms that deal with due process. The Bail Act is part of due process. If what you are truly concerned about is making sure that persons accused of crimes and who are truly guilty, that they are in the right place, then you need to try them faster, try them earlier, try them quicker.
And that can be done.
Yeah,
If there's
of course
a will
it can be done.
If there's a will, if we put the resources where they are needed, because I do believe that we have the answers right here. And if we prioritize, if justice is a problem in our country, not putting money but fixing the system quickly will ensure that what needs to happen in terms of trying the people quicker, get it out of the way, will be resolved. But this is about power grab.
Yeah, that's what it is. The conversation we just had, or the discussion we had about energy, it is an important part of understanding everything. When we take recognition of the fact that energy is invisible, it is of the spirit world,
it's not destroyed,
the invisible realm, and when we understand its indestructible nature, it is no wonder that some people study and interact with energy in a form of worship, because all energy, all power comes from God.
Right.
And once you have a right understanding of that, then in every situation you find yourself, you can begin to track the energy, track the power. So in all these things, we understand that there are some persons who want to amass power and use it in a selfish way, and there are some who want to disperse power, transfer it across larger groups, so that there can be a lot more equity in how people live, and a greater opportunity for peace.
It is so. And it just reminds, a scripture does.
Too much power concentrated in too few hands creates the recipe for conflict.
It creates recipe. It is the recipe for conflict.
Yeah.
And you talk about dispersing power. Jesus says, if you want to lead, you must be the servant of all. And even to go scriptural again, in Ephesians 4, it was talking about the giftings that were given to the persons in the church. And the end result of it was to empower persons so that they could walk in purpose and do what they are called to do. So in the end, if you are empowering everybody in a serious way, then it is better for the whole society. Yep. Yeah.
Earl Brown is suggesting that it's time we appointed more judges and have night court to speed up the trial of court cases.
That was mooted years ago.
And they have tried it. I think they still have something going, like in traffic court and so on. But, I don't even think it's so much the trial time. I think it is the preparation of cases so that they're ready for trial and the trials can flow smoothly. And where that is concerned, you have some other issues that we need to be up to date on. The use of technology. I think now that courts can be everybody's comfortable now with online court. A lot of applications can be done without persons have to lose time traveling and waiting and so on. So that would increase the efficiency at the courts. But lawyers need to be ready. Where it's for the criminal, and it's the criminal court that most people are concerned about, not so much the civil courts. But where the criminal courts are concerned, the police investigative work and the prosecutors being on point with what they're doing is an even more important element to manage than what happens when you are inside the court. I think those are like the bigger issues. The police need to have all the witnesses, all the statements, whatever it is they're doing, and the prosecutors need to be efficient in managing, whatever it is they're doing. And truthfully, as we are incorporating restorative justice into how we manage what's happening at the community level, those structures need to be in place and be working more efficiently. I think a number of things end up before the judges, which don't need to be.
Okay.
And if God favors us and give us policemen who are less corrupt and who have proper training and understand how their discretion works and they use it well, you would have fewer matters making it before the courts, and you'd have more peace in the communities because persons at the community level would be more involved in the administration of justice. The administration of justice is everybody's concern, and everybody has a role to play.
Okay.
So, when Fitzbailey said it's not the police alone, true, it's not the police alone. It really is.
About it,
yeah, I don't think right, but it really is all hands on deck.
Yeah,
We understand that condolences and mourning is taking place in the JLP again
the death
today.
of the
A
counselor.
counselor, yes, I just crossed my screen that a young counselor perished in a motor vehicle accident.
Okay.
Early this morning or late last night, whichever. Early this morning. And, it is bringing to the fore a couple of things. One, all the stuff that's happening on the road. Dr. Lucian Jones was being celebrated in yesterday's paper. He is the chairman for the National Road Safety. Is it a commission?
Council.
Council. And, just tracking how the mayhem on the road has increased over the years, right there on par with the escalating crime and violence. You can tell that they're being fueled by the same source of energy or power is what is pushing both in the wrong direction. This young man, we understand, was traveling alone, so whatever transpired, and it was a single vehicle accident. Yeah. Slammed into a wall. Right. So it was a single vehicle accident. So whatever the distraction, we will never know it. But our condolences to his family and constituency members and supporters and so on. The JLP is really under some stiff judgment. And the other thing that it brings to mind, Pastor Percy, is that you don't need to have a disclosed enemy to fall under pressure and struggle and tribulation. Meaning, a lot of times you can say, oh, a gunman did it, or it's the PNP, or so and so. We're seeing some things happening now that the only answer to them is on a spiritual level.
My people are called by my name. And we continue that trend. In that way, as we continue to pray for our nation, we truly really need to acknowledge and to move forward. That's when the healing begins in the land for real.
Conrad is giving me some lesson online. He says, Minette, I hope you know that the etymology of the word spirit just means breath or to breathe.
We know that.
That's the etymology, as defined by some fairly narrow sources. But Conrad has not, perhaps he did not listen to our earlier, I'm going to say episodes, earlier shows when we talked about the full meaning of words and how words acquire additional interpretation and meanings over time. And there are some words that you need to reprise their original meaning, and there are some words which you need to give them the meaning that they have in today's parlance, because the object of the use of words is to communicate. And there's no point in my using a word that meant something 100 years ago to people who use a different word for it today. I would not have communicated. So, in the spiritual realm, in the realm of the invisible, there are some things happening where the manifestation is in the natural world, and your breath is invisible, so it does make sense why spirit and breath would come from the same place. And your breath gives life, and it makes sense that the spirit that gives life is more important than whatever we're transacting in the natural. But there are some things manifesting in the natural world which only have their explanation in the spiritual,
origin there.
invisible world. And if we're not addressing it in the right place, we are just going to see escalating things. But mind you, a number of us are intervening in the invisible world to change things. And when that intervention commences, you are going to see responses in the natural, which may look like one thing, but they really are another. So, for example, if I intervene in the invisible world and disrupt your source of power, meaning I take a transfer from it or I apply an opposing force that is stronger than yours, then in the natural world, you're going to see the ripple effect. You're going to see people dying. You're going to see, sometimes you will see a ramped up level of opposition because they know it is under threat, and you see a massive pushback. But in the end, we know that the force we apply is far greater, far more powerful. In fact, the ruler of this world already stands condemned. So that battle was already won.
Destroyed.
It has already been
With
settled.
an open show off.
And all it requires is for persons like Pastor Percival and myself to remain on the front line, holding the line, because we know that it does not break. It hasn't broken behind us. It will not break behind us. And if we fall, another is going to stand in our place and hold it.
Come into the breach.
Yeah. 8 o'clock, time for the news. And then when we return, we'll begin to take calls. The numbers to call are 619-1508 and 279-8473. Please stay with us. This is The Morning Connection with your hosts, Minette and Percival.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Hello and welcome to the newsroom. In this edition, the unresolved Brexit issue that's returned to haunt EU relations with Britain. Who will blink first? Also today at 12 hours GMT with me, Nick Miles. Misery for millions across Beijing as 3 days of mass testing and lockdowns begin.
Imagine being told all of a sudden you can't go to work. Well, what I'm going to do, ring my boss and say, well, I'm not coming to work for the next week. And they might say, well, I'm not paying you for the next week. And what are you going to do about it?
Later in the programme, a celestial chart of our Milky Way.
It's a map in 12 dimensions, actually. So it's the 3 dimensions of space, and it's also the map of what chemical elements things are made of, how old they are.
We find out what the other 9 are, and we discover why, having retrieved a Nazi-looted heirloom after more than 80 years, a Dutch centenarian is handing it on.
I was very moved, I must confess, getting it back. And I hope it will be in the hands of someone who adores it like we adore this painting.
All coming up on the newsroom.
Hello, I'm David Harper with the BBC News. A festering dispute between Britain and the European Union has flared up again over post-Brexit arrangements in Northern Ireland. Britain is publishing legislation to change the terms of its settlement with the EU unilaterally. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says the changes are bureaucratic simplifications, which he dismissed as trivial. Ireland says the legislation is deeply damaging. Our political correspondent Nick Eardley says the proposed policy is also dividing opinion both in London and in Europe.
In Brussels, many fear that it breaks international law, that it's the UK going back on the deal that it signed a few years ago. And there's a big row within Boris Johnson's own governing party in the UK too, that some on his Brexiteer wing, those who backed leaving the European Union, say it's the right thing to do and he's taken a hard stance. Some others in the party say that this undermines the UK, it breaks international law, and they're deeply uncomfortable with it.
A new report has warned of potential loopholes in the strategy by the US and EU to restrict imports of Russian oil over the war in Ukraine. The Centre for Research on Energy and Clean Air says as the energy embargo takes effect, more Russian crude is being diverted to India. Here's Theo Leggett.
Exports of Russian oil and gas are falling. Moscow's revenues from energy sales have also declined from a peak of well over $1 billion a day in March. But they remain very high by historical standards and still exceed widely publicised estimates of the daily cost of the Ukraine war. The report says the EU's planned oil embargo will have a significant impact. But it warns that large quantities of Russian crude are now being shipped to India, where they're being refined and sold on, often to customers in the US and Europe.
Ukraine says Russian forces have driven Ukrainian units out of the centre of Severodonetsk, the most fiercely contested town in recent fighting. The Ukrainian armed forces say battles are continuing around the city, but a pro-Russian militia leader said the Ukrainians there had now had a choice between surrendering or dying. Ukraine says the Russians have moved extra weapons and armoured vehicles to 2 nearby areas. Talks have broken down in South Korea to end a strike by truck drivers that's beginning to affect the economy and could hit the global supply of computer chips. Truckers are demanding better pay to compensate for a rise in fuel prices. Rupert Wingfield-Hayes has more.
At South Korea's largest port in Busan, container movements have fallen by nearly 70%. Across the country, the strike is affecting everything from car production to steel, cement and plastics. Hyundai says it's losing 60% of production at one of its biggest car plants. The Korean Cement Association says 90% of shipments are not being made. For the rest of the world, the biggest concern is probably semiconductors. South Korea is a huge chip producer.
Rupert Wingfield-Hayes. World News from the BBC. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights has said she will not seek a second term and will leave her post in September. Michelle Bachelet, a former president of Chile, has recently come under criticism from the US and human rights groups for going ahead with a visit in last month to the Chinese region of Xinjiang. In her speech, she implicitly criticized Beijing's restrictions on its Muslim Uyghur minority.
I have always emphasized the importance of dialogue in my engagement with all member states, even on the most difficult issues. Going forward, we have agreed with the government of China to hold an annual senior meeting on human rights. I also raised concern regarding the human rights situation of the Uyghur and other predominantly Muslim minorities in Xinjiang, including broad arbitrary detention and patterns of abuse.
A British millionaire who helped fund the campaign to leave the European Union has lost a libel case against an investigative journalist. Aaron Banks sued Carol Cadwallader for comments she made about his relationship with the Russian state. But the High Court in London found Ms. Cadwallader successfully argued a public interest defence. The Disney Pixar film Lightyear, featuring the Toy Story character Buzz Lightyear, has been banned in Saudi Arabia and several other countries in the Middle East over a scene featuring a same-sex kiss. The sequence between 2 female characters had originally been cut from the film in the United States, but it was later reinstated. It's the latest movie to be banned in the Middle East over LGBT issues or references. A European Space Agency project to map the Milky Way has revealed new information on nearly 2 billion stars. Among the revelations is the existence of starquakes, massive vibrations which change the shape of stars in a similar way to tsunamis. The Gaia Space Observatory, which is located 1.5 million kilometres from Earth, is measuring the chemical composition, size and movement of objects across the galaxy. Since the probe was launched a decade ago, it has provided a wealth of data. That's the latest BBC News.
One in. A hurricane we name. Are we rough? Whether we are man hurricane or woman hurricane. We want you to know that. We come here to mash up building, blow down things and just like flood out this. We no ram. We no respect no one. So no take no chance with we. Listen to Hot Prem and prepare. Hurricanes do happen, so be prepared. Yes, be prepared.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Hey, hey, hey! Best 100 FM and the SOS Children's Village of Stony Hill presents an auction and telethon on June 23rd, 2022. You don't want to miss the sweet deals on designer vintage items, appliances, art pieces, and more. Go to our Instagram page at SOS Village_auction and bid on your favorite items. That's SOS Village_auction. Place as many bids as you can until June 23rd, the day of the event. Call us on the day to make pledges and other donations. Entertainment by the Morning Connection team. All proceeds will go to the SOS Children's Village of Stony Hill.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back to the Morning Connection. We have passed the 8 o'clock hour, so it's your time. But I'm going to trespass for 2 minutes because I think it's important that we say something on this issue of the confidentiality or the secrecy clause that is in the Bank of Jamaica contract for the production of these new notes. It is often the case that we pursue the acquisition of certain information, and it seems that the pursuit is just a self-fulfilling exercise, meaning that the only purpose of the pursuit is for the chase. There's nothing you can do or will do or that you even need to do with the information that you get. And I think this is one of them. When you are looking to see how much the government has paid in a severance package for the lady from Petrojam or for Royal Reed, those are important disclosures of sums which you can see the point of even asking for the information. One, in terms of whom you're asking it of entities and in relation to matters that are completely within the public domain. Well, maybe not so much for the Petrojam lady. And the reason that I'm saying it, now we talk about fundamental rights and freedoms. A private sector citizen or an international company that enters into a contract with the government and under which it says, I will only provide my service to you on the basis that you maintain confidentiality of the terms. Whether or not it's confidentiality from from competitors in the business, or it's confidentiality as regards tax reporting in your country of origin, whatever it is, those are the contractual terms. Governments are equally bound by contractual terms as any other citizen. And the person who imposed the confidentiality requirement has a right and an expectation that it will be met.
However,
whilst we are curious about how much the government is spending on these new notes, when we get the information, and believe me, we will get the information, because guess what? Human beings are safeguard the information. And even if you don't get it now, when you change government, the same government, that the new government is going to look at it and talk about it, and they're going to find a way to do it without breaching the confidentiality.
So the government actually entered into a contract for use of public resources to supply money, and they accepted this secret clause from the supplier? That's what you're saying?
And I'm sure they do it every day, because every dollar they have is public resource. When they sign a contract, and let me make it personal. If you entered into a contract with the government to do some service for them, maybe you are going to provide counseling at all government agencies. I speak it into being for you. And you say my hourly rate is $10. You will not want everybody to see you on the road and say, "Oh, Percy, I get $10 from the government per hour,
You have to
man."
give me a piece, man.
And then to follow up. There is,
give me a thing, you know.
and it's not because your $10 an hour is excessive, or it's just that normally you certain information, your banking information, your financial information attracts privacy.
True.
So the ordinary citizen don't want their business out there if they do something with government. So typically, what you find are appropriate ways to make the disclosure without creating embarrassment. You might
the
say,
person,
yes, you might say, we have 10 contracts and we spend a total of 100 million.
But they said that at the end.
Yes. So, and I noticed that while he was there talking all that nonsense about public disclosure, as if to say, he did go on to make some comments and to give some figures that would allow an intuitive person to work out, broadly speaking, what it is that we are spending on this endeavor. But the other point I want to make is that we do have to train ourselves into requesting and pursuing information which, when we receive it, we can advance some social or some public good.
True.
When we get the figure, whatever it is, what we're going to do with it? What we're going to do? Say too much? And how we know it too much? Because we are print money too. I mean, what are we going to say? Did you do due diligence, or did you? What is the point?
For money.
Yes. I really
say my thing in terms of just my feeling, my understanding of the situation is that they know, somebody outside know what the figure
of course
is, but them, and it's going to bring embarrassment to the government. That's why they're pushing it.
Well, wrong horse. Would you open the lines, please?
It's the wrong horse. I just figure when you see people pushing like that in
the bigger issue, Percy, is what you were adverting to. They're really trying to increase money supply by printing more money. And that more money that they're printing don't have no backing in the productive sector or capacity, and it is going to increase inflation.
Yeah, which is what the JMRA Jamaica exporters and manufacturers, because they merged into one, was saying that you're going to increase inflation by what you're doing from BOJ's side.
You're sneaking in new money.
And the thing was, the lady was complaining, and people said, and them just give it to the public. That's your problem. Because they don't really business.
Yeah. So it's not as if we're going to print. We're going to give you 10 new $2,000 bill and we're going to take out $21,000 bills. No, you don't see that kind of clarity coming out. All we're doing is introducing $2,000 notes. And they're expecting to save $4 billion over the decade. I'm not sure what they're saving. Anyway, this is a red herring. The bigger issue is introducing new money to boost money supply at a time when your productive capacity is low and your export bill is high, and this new money, this import bill, and this new money that you're putting in, you can't use it to pay foreign debt. You can't. Maybe if we could
the
use
idea
it
of a People's Bank, you mooted it last week, and somebody says it's something that we should continue to look at.
We have made tremendous progress on it, actually.
I know.
And we're going to have a meeting this week. It's something that I had been thinking about it from the cannabis market, or call it market, from the regulatory review was conducted. I began to consider how can Jamaica ensure that there is a robust, domestic banking business. We have a caller. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Welcome
morning,
to
sir.
you.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. Homer.
Yes. Yes.
You know, I'm coming up with a proposal.
Mm-hmm.
And
Homer Davis with the Gangster Summit.
Okay, oh, that one, okay.
The Police and Gangs Summit.
Right.
What do you think of it?
It is exposing the party to show that there are lack of ideas.
Oh, the bankruptcy in the ideas department.
Yeah, because they have been working from the PNP manifesto, but they don't say anything for crime to steal, so they come. Because it's, when you check it out, the Minister of Security has Exoro, the Prime Minister, State of Emergency, and then Homer now with something different, and Delroy Chuck. All of them have different ideas going across each other.
Yes.
Because Mr. Chuck said he worked with criminals in the past to get grand spend, you know. And this man, Homer Davis, I'm wondering if they have some criminals on them side that they want to bring into as advisors.
Or they want to gentrify.
Right, because the same politicians are aligned to the same, some of these dons are aligned to political party on both sides. So if you can find the dons to bring them to the table, why can't bring them to lock them up and apprehend them? Because obviously you know where the dons are.
So that is a question that we ask as well, especially in a climate where you have legislation now that says just being in a criminal gang is an offense. In previous time, you know, they did not have that kind of legislation. If you know that 2 or 3 persons that are of a certain prominence are members of a gang and you say that this is a criminal gang, you're supposed to arrest them, not sit in a conference trying to broker peace.
And between Homer Davis, Mallory Fort, and Dr. Sam, 3 of them have 3 constituencies that are infested with tons and scammers and gunmen. So they are aware of some of these people. And every time I hear the Minister of Security say that there are over 200 gangs in Jamaica.
300.
If you know there are 200 gangs, you should quietly work in on the ground to get these people, instead of coming out and saying it, quietly working to target these people, to break it down.
Yes.
Instead of you coming and say, give them a nice name.
Yeah, that is a reasonable expectation. And I think Mr. Davis having suggested it, I don't think we should allow him to just retreat in silence. There must have been some thinking. He says it's an idea he was having. There must be something more, you know, that than what we see here. And who knows, they may have had a practice meeting, and with Fitz Bailey having come out and saying it's a terrible idea and so on and so forth, you would expect now that the police are treating Mr. Davis as a person of interest.
Right. So them start to call them violence producers.
Yes.
No, there will be violence consultants.
Well, you know, obviously, because there are other industries in which that's exactly what you do. You recruit from the other side so that they can teach you and help you to disable certain things. Yeah, I take your point, sir. It's very well made. I do hope that other citizens are listening and seeing it and are inclined to follow up on it, because it must be because this man believes such a summit is achievable that he would suggest it in the first place. And given the area in which he works, it can well be assumed that he knows a lot more than he is saying. And I'm always emphasizing that the law makes it clear that persons who come together for a criminal purpose, otherwise called gang, that in and of itself is an offense.
It is. It is.
So if I even pick them up on that offense, you see the 3 of them, and they say, one a gang name, so and so, come and explain what a gang do. The producer said we might be called in because there are 3 of us and that's a gang.
They know where to find them.
They know where to find them.
But
Yes.
it's just that some of these people who were on the political bus during election time. These are some of
Oh
the
yes.
people.
Oh yes. Yes. So it's a interesting. My point is, because the intelligence network is between the police and the soldiers is far reaching in our country, and they know who the people are from top to bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you check it out, in Spanish Town, there is two prominent gangs. But one set now is dragging in the court, while another set is just easy going, not in any, because that side is your side. They
It's
leave your side and flag the other side.
yes, yes, yeah. And those things, sir, when we talk about equity in the administration of justice, um, leaders of the country need to know that citizens are taking note of those things.
Right. People are looking. And
People
listening.
are looking, and we say justice must be done and it must be seen to be done. It better you try and fail than you don't try at all. So that point you made about one gang sitting easy while the other is under pressure in court, it's a very,
Right.
very telling point.
Exactly. Okay, you're going to need that side on the bus to fill the bus.
To
And
fill up the bus and move the
Right.
machinery when you ring the bell or knock the
Right.
drum or whatever the call to order is, blow the trumpet.
Right.
I have to be even handed in what I say. Thank you for making those points, sir. I really do appreciate your call.
You're welcome.
Are you going to blow their bang?
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
What are you guys doing?
We're well, thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I hear you guys talking about gangs and, we'll take up the people them and gang them.
Yes, that was mentioned a while ago.
Yes, which is good. Yeah, because we don't support gangster. Anyway, I want to talk about another gang. So, may I go?
The gangs of Gordon House?
No, man, but me I go want to know feedback after me make my point,
All right, go ahead.
More Pastor Percy say something on it and more you miss me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I was watching the news Saturday night on TVJ, see?
Yes,
I was watching on TVJ, yeah. There was a news item where a St. Thomas councillor was making a speech in the council of St. Thomas that Fitz Daly, that assistant commissioner, and the commissioner of police has blundered. He said that the 7 skulls and the coffins that was found at the Lodge Hall, the police should have searched all other Lodge Halls in St. Thomas because they were, as if they were given time to hide their casket or whatever, to see if other caskets were there and these other Lodge Halls. And they should make a search island-wide of all Lodge Halls. That's what the council was saying in the council to other councillors. What do you guys think of that?
Let me ask you a question. If your neighbor was convicted of a crime or committed a crime and the police were there, would you find it reasonable for the police to say, well, since the neighbor did it, let me just go in and search this man's house?
No, that's a different thing now. It's 7 skulls and
So they
with dead people over the years.
So the severity of it or the horror of it changes the principle. Let me give you a direct response. No, that is not a point worthy of great consideration. You need to have reasonable grounds on which to
As a rule of law.
Absolutely. On which to enter a private premises. Let me finish. You asked for a response. You need to have reasonable grounds on which to enter a private premises without a warrant. And if you are to get a warrant, you must be able to disclose to the person you're asking to give you permission what grounds would cause you to go in and search a man's premises. And I can tell you without fear of contradiction that it is not reasonable grounds to say another lodge in St. Thomas had coffins and stuff in it. So I think all lodges. It would be the same as saying all black men are, or all black women are, or all Chinese nationals are. It makes no sense.
All right, based on my knowledge, do you know that all large halls in the world and in Jamaica commit sacrifice and drink blood?
Yeah, but you
I
see,
have no
no
such.
such. We don't
I
have no
have
such.
yes, and I doubt that you have. You know why I doubt that you have such
You hear
knowledge?
somebody say that?
If you were present in a lodge hall where the criminal offense of human sacrifice was being done, you would be complicit in it. You would not dare say it on radio and risk the police coming to pick you up so they could get what you know. So you can have yes.
Because that's a secret society, and you are saying that I cannot know what happened there if I'm not part of it. That's what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying you cannot know. I'm saying if you know and you say it on radio to me, it would make you a very foolish person. And I do not think you are a foolish person. If I am wrong, expect the police to come and pick you up. So you can tell them where these sacrifices and where these things are being done in all the lodge halls of Jamaica.
All of the lodge halls,
we don't want to be too wild in our speculation,
that's
and
all
we don't
speculation.
need to be to address the problem that exists. We don't need to be.
You know why? It's a topic that most people don't really want to talk about.
Do I sound like I don't want to talk about it?
No, man. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because, you know, in this large hall, I'm mostly judge, lawyers, top police, what you call them, private sector individual that you see on TV, politicians. These are the men that does these things in this place, you know, are rich people.
So, all right,
that's why most people don't really want to talk about it.
No, I think people love to talk about it, and I think people like yourself, and even I am encouraging it as we speak together. I think a lot of people speak about it. The bottom line is, if you know these things and you know that they are wrong, speak out against it. And it really doesn't matter whether it's rich people or poor people or powerful people. Understand that each of us stand condemned when we know and condone wrong things taking place in our society. And even if the horror don't visit us personally, we will see it happening to our neighbors and our friends, and eventually it's going to get to us. So
I'm going to say this.
So if you really do know such things, you try and find the right place. You can tell me, if you tell me that you saw it being done at a certain place and you know that where it is, I will find a safe way to ensure that it is investigated without putting you in jeopardy.
Yeah, before I go, a lot of young people who are missing in Jamaica, they end up in these large halls. You'll never see them again.
All right, my brother. I pray that whoever has the direct knowledge will share it so something can be done about it.
Okay.
If not, you know what's going to happen. You too, my brother. And put everybody on notice. Whatsoever is done in the dark and secret comes to light.
Somehow.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning, Miss Minute. Morning, Pastor.
Good morning.
This is your People's Banker calling.
Hi. Welcome to the show.
Yes.
The People's Banker. Because we need a People's Banker.
No, we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it quick, and we hope we can discuss it properly. Anyhow, we want to touch on a little thing, which I hear you talking about this morning, about the money supply.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Would you hold for us, please? We're 2 minutes past the break. I don't even know how that happened. Please don't go. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
Veg Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back.
Yes.
People's Banker, what you have to say to us now?
Just to touch on some economics.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Now, normally in every country you have what is called the money stock.
Mm-hmm.
M123.
Is the stock of all, like you have a stock rating, you know?
Yes, man. But go ahead and explain it though for those who are not into the people banking.
Yeah, well, under the central bank laws now and acts, you can't increase the money stock without some element, some high authority.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to be kind of careful when we're saying that the government printing money and the supply going. The supply is like you're printing money now for fuel inflation.
Mm-hmm.
So I would look at the references and find out now with respect to the overall money stock. What is the sharing? I'll give you an example. You know, I come in from East Africa.
Yes.
And what you see happening in certain parts of the world, those things are coming into Jamaica now. You see, the thing is, the Jamaica economy and things here is under the influence of the U.S. economy and governance system. So, for example, in East Africa now, if you pick a country like Tanzania, when they explain these things, they explain from the money stock perspective.
Have you done?
You understand?
May I ask you a question before you, as you are proceeding? Since you've been back, have you taken a look at the level of disclosed information from the Ministry of Finance concerning any of those matters, money stock being as you are raising it now? We have a caller who frequently speaks on it and has made some statements which even anecdotally we understand them to be true. But beyond that, we are operating in Jamaica in a climate of too little information on the important matters. And as we were saying earlier, where there is some curiosity, it tends to focus on things that really don't make a fundamental difference, don't change the fundamentals. So I am challenging you because, you know, I love what you do and where we're taking things, to dive into the Ministry of Finance website and see what information they're putting out, whether or not we are operating in an environment where there is transparency regarding the kind of information and where there is even truth.
Yeah, well,
so
you know, I'm a banker.
Yes.
But I will extend my knowledge into economics.
Yes.
That the experience that I have, and as you say, what I have seen here in Jamaica, it is very wanting.
Yes.
Yeah, where I'm coming from, you don't try that with the public.
Right.
Because people, you know, people in that side of Africa, electronic money is like nearly 17 years old.
Yes.
So when it comes to understanding how money moving, what people are paying for that movement of money, there's a lot of interest in national economics and, you know, inflation and those things. So even though the level of education may not, level of education per capita may not be like us in here in Jamaica.
Right. But financial literacy.
Are knowledgeable about what you call the high point.
Yes. Financial literacy has meaning and value and is practiced.
No, it's a big thing. Financial literacy is a big thing in East Africa. You can't push anything past the ordinary man, ordinary woman. Because the man understands certain things.
We score low on that in Jamaica.
We score very low. Very low. Because you know what happened now? Because show you something now. The percentage of Jamaican population that have bank account is like nearly 60%. Higher than that. In where I come from, it's like 10-15%.
Yeah.
But no, because the people have the ability to maintain the money on the phone, them get a big prize to the government.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, when the government look at how much people have mobile phone and how much mobile phone accounts are out there, and that money is not in the banking system direct, it's getting indirect, not the direct.
Right.
The government is very concerned, so them treat the people them nice.
So it has some, yes, it has some additional value there.
Yeah, them have to treat the people. The other day now, them raise a tax. And after the COVID thing, that go down, they put a tax on the transfer of the money. The market collapsed about 50%. Because the people them say, no, we like the money on the wallet, but you can't charge us so much to move it.
Yes.
So for us in Jamaica now, we're going into mobile money. I would ask the authorities in the central bank and those places. Them go East Africa already, But them send some private sector people. So them no need to send some, I don't know, but them need to send some central bank people so them can understand now where this thing is going once it take off.
Right.
And the problem, not the problem, but the challenge the government is going to have is to convince the people that this money is not traceable. Because in East Africa, the phone companies buy the money from the government in bulk. And then now you, the consumer, now get the units from the phone company. So the public don't see any link directly with this money and the government because them don't get it from the government, them get it from the phone company.
So that is how it's done there. But here, the proposal is to take it from central bank and then it is administered through. Yeah. I actually spoke to one person on the weekend who said they have one of their accounts and it's held to operate it. You almost always can't get access to it. But that really is a function of the network.
It's new. So them will take a while to work out
Yes.
the box outside.
Yeah.
But the government have to do a big thing now to let people them know that the money is not traceable. That is the big issue. Because if you get something from the government, electronic, automatically you see that they are tagged upon it.
So after the way it is set up now, it is, and they emphasize that it is secure and traceable and uniquely connected to can be traced who you give it to, where it come from, and so on. I understand that you're saying there is a system at work in East Africa that takes that out of it, and Jamaicans would be far more interested in it if they were not anxious about the confidentiality of their transactions. Let me ask you this. You had started off by saying one needs to be cautious about suggesting that inflation and, like I used the word, sneaking in some money when Pastor was commenting on how the thing is being done. And I was curious as to whether they're actually going to be withdrawing from the money stock some of the $1,000 notes as they replace with $2,000 notes. What's the caution that you were really expressing? Is it that that's not what's happening in Jamaica, or what was the caution? I want to be clear on the caution you were voicing.
My caution is that normally when central banks introduce new currency, they withdraw the equivalent.
Yes.
Now what happens now in East Africa now, when they introduce, when the mobile phone companies want more e-money, they put real money to the bank.
Right.
And they get the e-money. So the stock remains the same.
Right.
Because that money that the central bank holding is just security.
Well, I'm going to ask you to see if you can dive below the skin of what we're doing, because those statements have not been made. Certainly, they've not been made with any clarity. And there is still talk that this carries the potential of fueling inflation because it is an increase in the money stock to do something that we already know ought not to be done that way.
Yeah.
All right, my brother, we shall speak again, but I do have another call that I need to take. Thank you so much
Give
for
thanks.
sharing with us. Give thanks. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. All right.
That was an interesting
yes.
one. But in terms of money supply, the
Did you
caller
take a quick look? You took a
speaks
quick look to
about
see?
the money stock because he speaks of M1, M2, and M3 money supply.
He didn't speak about that. You were raising it because
But he-
Neville
he-
talk about it all the time.
Yeah, and
But he spoke about the withdrawal of currency from the market if you are actually doing a replacement. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Morning
Morning,
Connection.
I just got cut off.
Oh, because I was trying to greet you and not hearing. We apologize for that. How are you this
But
morning?
I called back and I get through.
Perfect.
Good morning.
Yes.
Both of you.
Yes.
What I called to talk about this man, I don't know if anyone else discussed it.
Well,
the music, that Miss Grange said they can't find 10
Friday.
10 records out of 100 and not.
And 23.
What do you think that is the reason?
Well,
We spoke out. You listened to us last week Thursday.
yes,
And we
and
said we want to find out.
Well, a couple of corrections. One is the chairman of the committee spoke up and said, and he is an established expert in the area. He said that the quality of the offerings were so poor that he could not recommend any forward movement. So it was not Miss Grange herself who took that decision. It was the recommendation from the chair of her committee. And then the man went on to say that, like almost everybody was writing about ackee and saltfish, sun and beach. And apparently not in any creative way or sufficiently diverse ways to make it interesting. I disagree with them, you know.
Miss Minute.
Yes.
Everybody's trying to make a quick buck. $3 million think is the price.
That's the prize, yes.
$3 million is a lot of money to some people right now. So everybody just putting pen to paper. It's a quick thing. Money, everything right now is a quick thing. Everybody just want money, money, money. Even the government, all they think about is money.
Right.
Business that makes money.
So what do you think? You think that...
No.
What do you think?
Minute, I will tell you the truth.
Yes.
My truth is always the truth.
So what's your truth?
Yes, the government is trying to build an album. I saw that from last year. That's why they get all those big artists. They're trying to get the big artists, especially Buju. Buju song is the worst song I heard for festival. Anyway, to hit Billboard or the reggae chart in foreign, that's the reason.
So are you saying that they're setting... Okay. Are you saying they are setting standards to meet some other agenda, not necessarily to just say, reflect the best of what Jamaicans are saying at a particular point in time?
Yes.
Okay.
Think about it. Go home and think about that.
I don't know about the other... Whatever the other agenda is, I agree with you that the purpose of the song is to reflect what Jamaicans are saying at a particular point in time.
But I said-
and
I
whatever
said
they are saying is what you need for use.
But that's what I'm saying about narrative. Remember,
Yeah.
I made
Yes.
that point about
Last week you
narrative.
did.
Yes, it fits in with what you're saying in terms of there's a narrative that the government has, and what the people are producing is not lining up with the governmental narrative on the situation.
To me, it's culture. It's not like when you're writing a math exam or a science exam or a language exam where there are some finite possibilities as to what the right answers are. Cultural expression is what gets spit up from the people, the mass of the people at any given point in time. That's what it is. You deal with what you get. You don't say, "Oh no, this is not good culture." No, you can't throw it back. It is what your people have given you. You might say, "We have seen better," but that should only be a rallying cry to motivate higher performance. You need to take where you see, we are behaving as if we can send back these Jamaicans and say, all right, we don't like this crop of Jamaicans. Send us another one. What you have is what is it? What you have is what you get.
Yeah.
And what you get is what you have to work with. You work with it. I did not like it. It felt like they were trying to misrepresent.
Yeah, because I heard some songs way back in the 60s, 70s coming up that it was just the rhythm, it was just
Thank
the
you.
music.
No lyrics
not
to
the
inspire in any great way.
Yeah, but they hit, people like them, people dance to them.
It was the music. It was
What
really the
I
beat.
want to hear now is some of those songs. I would wish I could hear all of those 100 and odd songs to choose for myself.
Listen,
Any of them.
man, we're right there with you, And in this age where social media is bigger than the fourth estate, I'm saying somebody need to start a site and say, send me a song and let Jamaicans hear it. And that would, that is, and let
I
us
want
really
somebody
see
to
what
send
they
me 10
rejected.
of the songs to your program tomorrow or the next day. So we can say, no man, that can go on. I'll say that back.
Yes.
That's what
Promote
we
it,
said.
man.
That's what we said.
I'm trying to
these
motivate.
people, look what these people is doing. It's all about money, wealth. They don't care about people, feelings, or anything like that.
All right, so we're
It's the
letting it
truth.
be known. If you send us a song, we play it. Just make sure it's clean. Well, we'll make sure it's clean also, because we're not playing it if it's not clean.
Yeah. Trust me, it's all about the reggae charting.
Because
for the JCDC, whatever they call them, to get some more money in their
they talked
bank thing or
about
whatever.
they've talked about putting it on iTunes and
Yes, and make an album. They say they're gonna make an album, whether or not.
They're gonna make a 60th anniversary album,
Yeah.
which that's fine. You could do the two things.
It's all about money. It's like when you have this thing on TV. Remember those shooting that they have people
Oh
sing,
yes, man. Yeah.
Rising Star.
Rising Star.
Rising Star.
And the different.
No.
Yes, yeah.
No matter how an old man song is good, he will not win. He will never win.
He's not rising. Sorry.
Because he cannot be sold.
Can be marketed.
He can't be
He
marketed.
have to be marketed. Anyway, have a nice day.
You too, my brother. Thank you so much. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. Welcome.
That's always interesting. He always comes with an interesting point of view. I like when he says, my truth is always the truth.
It's always the truth.
Wow.
Well, that's a man who is convicted.
Of
Good
himself.
morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
Yes, man. What's up?
Oh, enlightened. How you do?
You know you're on air.
Yeah, am I to understand, you see?
Yes.
That anything will, because it is popular amongst the Jamaican people, anything they put out, we must accept it.
Who's the
because it's what the people are saying and what the people are thinking.
Who's the we?
Jamaica, us Jamaican who have certain standard.
No, we're not. No, we're not saying that. I make no rules for you. You make your own rule. You don't have to accept anything.
Oh man, you don't care what you talk about, man. We're not go by the standard, man.
But the question,
No, what standard? You asked the question.
But we don't even, we're talking in the dark. We don't even know where the things are. We're still talking in the dark, you know. We're just being told by this.
All right.
Okay.
When you listen to this type of music that is being sung nowadays, and the type of culture that go along with it, but it is so popular. When you listen to TikTok and you see some of the jokes that have been posted on those things,
but you're gone.
That's a part of our culture.
You're gone all over the place now. TikTok is not a part of our culture. TikTok is a Chinese social media application that people use.
But it incorporates our culture, man.
But what is culture for you, my brother? What is
Culture
culture for
for me?
you? Yes.
Yes.
What you when we say culture, what or when you say culture, what do you mean?
It incorporates music. It incorporates the way of our life, the way we think, the way the food that we eat. All of them things involve
All right.
culture for me, you know.
Yes. And is it current? Is it historical? Is it prospective?
It has to be of a certain standard for me.
No, we're not talking about standard now. We're talking about what it is. Because how you measure it is a different thing from what it is. Water exists.
But we have to use standard to measure everything, you know.
We agree with you.
No, unit of measurement is one thing. I'm asking you, what is it? Because you seem to think that you can change it, or you can, by dismissing it, you have affected it in some way. And I don't think that in your mind, culture is. It seems a lot more fluid in how you're speaking to me, as if you think if we don't like it, we can send it back. Your people and how they express themselves is what it is. And it's based on what becomes a cultural norm is based on the level of acceptability, the number of persons who engage in it and respect it and perpetuate it through their daily conduct. You and I, or maybe 49% may not like a thing, but the fact that 51% like it means that it is the thing that will go forward as what people are doing.
Yeah, but that's dangerous thing that, you know.
But whether it's dangerous or it's bad, and that's why you
No,
need to be.
listen,
That's why you need to be aware of it and be mindful of it, because whenever you stand down from a standard or whenever you pull back from addressing a thing, you are making it possible for the majority to persist in their behavior. That's why one needs to be careful of it and don't feel like if I just keep quiet and ignore them or avoid them, it will go away. It won't. Unless you intervene to change the course of it, it becomes the thing for which you are known. I always remember a caller who said, of somebody who said that they're not Jamaican. He said, go on a foreign and they will tell you who you are. Because from your land and you open your mouth and they say Jamaican, there are a set of things that they assume about you, which you can't change.
Yes, I agree with it. But
So tell me now why you're taking this view of
there's
culture.
some contradiction in what you are saying to me, you know.
What is the contradiction?
The contradiction is that because 51% of the people agree with a certain thing, then that's the way we have to accept it.
No, my brother, culture is not something that you accept or deny. Culture is like you're a man. Do I need to accept you? You're a man. Whether I like you, feel one particular way or another about you, you exist as what you are. So it is with culture. The people are going to do it. They are doing it. They're writing about it. They're singing about it. You may not like it, but the only influence you can have on it is
If
to
you're a
shape
part-
it when
part
you are
of
a part of it.
So what she's saying,
Thank you,
from my
Pastor.
point of view, is that you have a lot of things out there, but it's not acceptable to you. And the only way that you can change it is being involved and saying, no, man, we can operate at a different level. That's what I hear you saying, also?
Yes, but in my opinion, that's exactly what the government is trying to do.
I'm not so sure about that.
No, sir, the
you know.
government is not trying to do that.
Let me share something with you because it's in the paper today. 3 festival song entries identified for Jamaica 60 celebration.
This is 3 of the 123.
Yes. So in reading the article today by Stephanie Liu, they're saying in a press conference they held on Saturday, the commissioner says that what came and the people were Freddie McGregor, Elaine, Gussie Clark, Cleveland Brown, and Donovan Jermaine, as well. They hear their opinions and so on. So they're asking other people because they want to do a commemorative album. That is what it is.
That's what they want to do.
That's what they want to do.
So then they could just suspend the contest
and
and say
say-
this is what we're doing,
So they take-
rather
accept-
than
yeah.
make the point that everybody is singing about Aki and Saltfish, sea and sun and beach, and none of them are up to standard, and we need more workshops and so on. You should have workshops.
Yeah, before. Yeah, the people think. So they're trying to spin it away because, we have to be careful that we not get caught up in the way that people are seeking to spin the thing. Because remember, culture is what people are. It is a manifestation of where they are now.
Yeah. Yes.
But
So the one thing that it is not, my brother, it is not prospective. Meaning you can't today say those songs are worthless, they don't represent us. And the us you're talking about is the us that you want us to be next year. Culture is always going to be current expression and historical. You can look back and say, "Ooh, look where we're coming from." And I hear some people say, "Oh, Cheerio, 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 baby." What was that song about?
You understand? You understand where it's enlightened because that should have been your time.
I hear what you're saying, But I am looking at it in a broader picture,
We are looking at it broadly.
Because listen, there's a guy that's going to Guyana, and during his presentation, I work a gunshot and all in previous second stage. That Guyana is not banning Jamaican artists and don't want them to perform there,
Because
right?
we're bringing out the worst in the Guyanese.
The worst in us.
No, not
right?
us. Is Jamaicans were in Guyana? Jamaicans were in the
We
audience.
are exporting the worst, to other people, influencing other people to be the way they don't normally do.
Oh, really?
And it's kind of interesting because if you go to Japan, the same artists would not get a gun salute from them.
So
we bring out the worst in the Guyanese. And we
yeah,
bring out
that's exactly what we're doing because I'm sure if one of our main gospel artists went to Guyana, another concert, there would be no gunshot there.
Yeah, I hear your point.
I'm 100% certain that there wouldn't be any gunshot firing there.
So where are gunshots being fired at gospel concert? Is that a thing that I don't know about?
No, I said if you want to put it.
But you need the analogies or the
No,
comparisons
I'm saying
need to be
we
appropriate.
are exporting the worst of us to other people, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I use the analogy as the gospel, I'm saying that if there was a gospel,
we hear what you say. We hear what you say.
There would be no gunshot firing.
And
so why is it when our reggae artist is there, gunshot is being fired?
You'd have to ask the Guyanese.
But
because you could not be saying that Jamaican gunmen are traveling to Guyana to go and fire shots.
But you pretty well understand what I mean, my lady.
I do understand what you mean, and it's an unworthy point and an unfair point.
No, it's not an unworthy point, because I made the analogy and I said there was a gospel music festival in Guyana. There will be no gunshot.
But why would there be gunshot in a gospel concert? It doesn't even make sense. We have another call and we have to take a break.
Why must a gunshot be there when a reggae concert is being...
You'd have to ask the Guyanese.
Have to ask the Guyanese?
Yes, then in Guyana you said the gunshots were being fired.
Yeah, the reason why it is there because what the reggae...
All right, my brother. Can you hold for me? Let's take the break and we do have another call.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Warning. When there is a hurricane warning, button down, tie down, everything. Lift appliances and furniture off the ground and secure your valuable items. If you wanna boat, secure it on land and turn on your yard. If you a fisherman, make sure you turn off every breaker, and before you sleep, turn off your generator. Flooding, that is a real danger. If you live a gully bank, river bank or low line area, if you see flood waters are rising, get out, heed the warning. If your land starts slipping and sliding, get out, heed the warning. Hurricanes gonna happen, so be prepared.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Vegam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vegam Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. My brother from Portmore. Portmore?
Yes.
Yes. You want to wrap up your brilliant point? Can we have another caller? Good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
Morning.
Oh.
Me again.
Oh.
This is Banka.
Oh, okay. You know, I'm so sorry. I thought I had another caller on hold. But go ahead.
Yeah, I have 2 quick points. Can you touch on 2 things which dear to my heart?
Yes. Go ahead.
Music and Grandspen Road.
Movement and Grandspen Road.
Music and Grandspen Road.
Yeah, well, you know, Grandspen Road, for those who don't know, is about 400 meters long. One end of our that side and the next end of our Sharpwood. And it's a nice place. I live here many years myself. We have to big up the policeman, them, big up the health center people, them, big up the peace park people, them, and so on. And all those community leaders who trying to hold the peace. Now, if you live in this community, no week, no party, no gunshot fire.
Yeah.
I have to know where to go and where not to go. Where you can pass, where you can't pass. What time you can pass, what time you can't pass. That is ghetto living.
What a stress.
Is that major stress?
Yeah. And I live here in 1980, and I come back here now 2022, and it's the same thing. It's only getting more intense. But still, we want to big up the people them who holding the peace, and big up the police people them, and all of the people them who we see them regularly in the area, them walk around and them talk to the youth them and so on. So we want to big them up and hope that God will bless them.
All right. Thank you for that.
The next thing now, why they must make this competition for the music thing so complicated? It to be simple. All you have to do is just rope in all of the station them like you, and just, because you know, say if a man calls Tony Shaw, and say Tony, we want to put the competition on your radio, Tony would have make the time available immediately.
Of course.
Every station will do that.
We'll do the same and have people call in and vote and yes.
Just like in the old, you remember in the old days?
I don't remember the old days.
Back in the 60s.
Certainly not so far back.
Anyhow, have a great day, Mama. Have a great day, Papa.
Thank you very much. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yeah, morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, me like on not downgrade the whole time festival and I give them new festival at the go ahead.
Where you get that from? Which station were you listening to?
No better FM, man.
We would have never downgrade the old type song. Why would we downgrade them?
For me, you say Cherry O Baby, what it is?
We wanted to find out what it was about.
No, we can't downgrade it. Interestingly, Cherry O Baby is the song that I remember the most, and what was eye-catching or ear-catching or whatever about it. The lyrics were not the focus of the song because it's a love song. I just pulled up the lyrics to remember because I only remember the chorus and the beat of it was infectious. And Jamaicans were celebrating love and relationship in that song. Huh?
It draw a lot of crowd.
Absolutely, it brought people together. So why this year the committee was saying that a lot of people were writing about Aki and Salfish and Sun and Beach. And why I raised Cherry oh baby, is because I said, well, why is that worse than when we celebrated with Eric Donaldson's many songs? He's been the most prolific winner. And other persons have said it's always been the music, the beat of the music, and how it makes people feel in celebration and in coming together. That's been the focus. This business now of saying if people are, there were, I don't know any of the songs. I've not heard them. So we don't know why our own Jamaicans would sit over the contestants' offerings and say that's not good enough, so we're not bothering with any competition.
No, because it's not a taste. It's not because none of them news that with them say not a taste.
Have you heard them?
Because no, I don't really heard them, but
so you're joining them in that dismissal.
Well, I not compare to somebody sing last year and the year before. Are the same thing.
Okay, so what you're seeing, you're saying there's been a decline over the years?
Of course. I don't joke business. But when you do music right now, when the independent come up, they make you know say all of them music there, if them sing for 2-3 hours, it's so much. It will lack off. I'll appear the whole festival song you go here. Them show a flop. So whether you wish to believe it, yes or no, say go.
Yeah, may I try to understand.
What are the songs that are from your childhood, or which is the song,
From your
the
era.
festival song that you remember most fondly?
Well, yeah, me know.
Yes.
Me not gonna tell you no lie. Me can't really remember some of them. Cherry, oh baby.
That's from 1971.
And Toots and the Maytel, Upton Lewis. Would have to do the research. To play them and listen them and call them back and tell them about them.
Right.
But you
all of them will be listen.
Yes.
A boom song them there.
Okay, but
you understand?
Yes.
The lyrics, everything that I can think of, everything fits. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And everybody jump for joy.
all right. So you have highlighted a very important principle in terms of the festival songs of the past, and even recently, that it was about celebration and coming together, not through the people in at the time. Because what is instructive is that you don't remember most of the festival songs then, because after them play a certain time in the festival, you don't remember them.
Yeah, they fade into the background. But you do remember the experience and the joyfulness of how people responded to it. But you see, when we talk about this too, we also have to be mindful that we ourselves are stuck in time in terms of how we reacted to the music when we were young and out and about and so on and so forth. And every year, a new crop of writers come up with the music that is relatable to them and their age group or their time or whatever.
Yeah, that is true. I not say no, but
yeah,
the festival music back in the days, them music they're not just right in 15 or 20 minutes. And they take time. And them can't die, and they will never die until God comes.
All right, sir. All right, love it.
All right, then.
Take care. Have a good day. Good morning. Good morning.
Because the music was an expression of the culture, it always is.
It always is. It always is. And
then just to remember what
feel like you're whispering to me.
Enlightened self-interest point was, you don't like it, then you do something to influence it, because the values that you hold at the present time is going to reflect everything that you do, whether we like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. And if you treat culture as the blood that flows in the veins, you either what you eat influences the condition and the quality.
It's in the air.
But at any time you take a look at it, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Still.
Welcome. So that is part of the discussion that we're having with them. I like
Someone
the
else
people.
suggested here that we should get some of the songs and play them. I hope persons would entrust us with that. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yeah, I'm about to put out before I could finish my point.
And you heard me greeting you when we came back, so you know that was not the intention.
Yeah, man, I understand.
All
Yeah.
right. Yes,
You
finish your
see,
point.
the point I'm trying to make, is that we must uphold certain standards, right? Because when we as youngsters, I remember as youngsters we always want to go against the tide, swimming against the tide as young people.
Really?
But then, yeah, man. When we are youngsters, man, we don't try to challenge that character and all them things, man. But we were kept in check because the society had certain morals and certain standards that was expected.
Yes.
Now we in this society now, it's like one of the things that we have lost in this society, we have lost gatekeepers. And because we have lost gatekeepers, some of the songs them that have been produced, you couldn't carry them go to Caxton studio. Caxton would have never accept it and the rest of studios. But because of technology now, them now have to go in a Caxton studio. So any little thing a man sit down in the yard and think, put a little brain tell him something to sing about him, come sing about it. And put it on the airways and believe in that and intelligent people now are saying that boy the music have no effect on people and it have no effect on children and have no effect on that. And if you listen to what the youngsters are listening to nowadays, you will be appalled to listen to hear what some of the songs that they are listening to. And it has having a great effect on the society. And to me, Jamaican society, especially some people, is behaving like a frog when you put them in a water. And them frog right down in the water and go and tell the water boil up and the frog dead. We have to wake up and realize that the music that's producing nowadays have a material effect on the youngsters nowadays.
And we're in agreement.
Like Jamaica,
Yes.
as I said, otherwise Jamaica is like the Amazon River and the Rockover River. If you throw up a drum of chemical in the Amazon River, it will have an effect than if it's put in the Rockover River. And we have to be very careful.
Yet one Jamaican went to Guyana and caused gunshots to erupt at a music festival. Guyana being the location of one of the big rivers that Jamaica could sit in. My Guyanese friends used to tell me all the time that they could just drop Jamaica into that river, and we would just be a little. No, I think it's the Demerara River.
But Enlightened, you are making a very important point, and we don't want to negate it, because remember, what comes out in culture is based on the values that people have, and our values have deteriorated over time. Yeah. Yeah. So
we must be very mindful of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying to you also. Yeah.
That we can impact it, but we can't stand aside and say, boy, this song we left it. We have to become involved, because as you speak about gatekeepers are important in any society. In biblical times, you would have the elders who sit down at the gate and do what they're doing. But thanks for the point. We have another call on 9. Bless you.
Man. Okay.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning, Miss Minute and Pastor.
How you doing? How you doing, my brother? We good.
Solution man here.
Yes.
I think the festival song Water Down for You.
Okay.
It don't have that mental song like Family and the Turbine music, them and Eric Donaldson and Sonny Meatel, that mental style. Because I hear three of the song this morning.
Yes.
Out of that 120 what them turn on. And it sound like you know what I'm gonna say. It not sound good, man. It water down.
Well, right away as you speak of your reaction to the music, you say something about yourself, because you know what you like, and you know the period of Jamaican music that you associate with festival songs, and it is so for everybody have a period of time that is their favorite, and if you have lived for a certain number of years, you can always tell where persons have their happiest memory. But when it comes to cultural expression, and for us, that's how we're discussing the festival song, by the way. We're not discussing it as a song competition plucked out of nowhere. It is a song, it is a competition being held in Jamaica at a time when we are looking at things Jamaican and seeking to find music that expresses who we are, how we feel, and what we are doing, our way of
That is true.
life. So,
That is true.
right.
That
So
is
it's
true.
not going to sound the same all the time. And it shouldn't, because it would mean we're not changing. And we are supposed to be evolving. And we're supposed to be inclusive. So we can't have the music that only sound like the music of our childhood. What about the children today who need to hear music that they can relate to? So
But
culture has
just
to
a
be
minute.
sufficiently.
But based upon the music where these young people are really listening out, it cause chaos and them are dead by the streets like a dragon. You notice?
The producer said during his time, his parents were saying the same thing about the music in the 70s, I guess.
But
That is a perennial
but so-
complaint,
but so-
but it makes
You can't know that something is wrong because when you see
No, no,
young
no,
girl
wrong. No, nothing is
Guyana
wrong.
dance,
It is perfectly within order. And a part of the thing too might be the age group of the people who are assessing the music. If you're going to do it in a way that is inclusive, then you need a similarly diverse set of judges or whatever, and you need some instructions on how persons what the music should represent. So when the contestants are putting in their submissions, they know that they're gonna get so many points for cultural expression, so many points for a musical composition that reflects the diversity of the genres of Jamaican music. You give instructions that are sufficiently complete so that it represents what you're looking for and what the Jamaican public would find a fitting tribute to their to nationhood.
I want to.
out of that 120, how much song really going to come out? That 20, no?
I don't know.
It's supposed to be 20, then 10 final, but they said that even when they were cutting, they could only find 3 for them to believe what the article in the Gleaner is saying today. But I want to make another important point, which I think we're missing. The culture is a reflection of your values as a society. You agree with that point? Your culture is a reflection of your values as a society.
In terms of
the values that people hold dear. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead and speak. You go ahead and speak. We're hearing you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like I just mix up these things.
Okay.
In terms of, I believe I heard this morning when they was talking about this gun business of the government going on.
Yeah.
What's going on? I can't buy it with that. How can it? No, but it's when you say a country gone to the extreme, gone to gun self crime. You can't trace something wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's remember now, his one man says so. It was Mr. Davis who said it out
State
loud.
Minister.
He said it out loud. An important man, as you're rightly pointing out, but it is still not the prevailing view. But yes.
It's like when the Prime Minister is starting at the church and him come up with this saying, boy, you know, him go on the church if he help him to fight crime. To fight crime. That means that leader is him a loser.
Yes. I don't know, loser is the right word, but he's at his wit's end. Because yes.
It don't look good. It don't look good
no,
for
man.
every sector.
It don't look good, it don't feel good. I don't feel good. I'm looking at my country with great concern. But I am seeking
because we have to call a speed, you know. It don't look good.
But you solution man, that now means you have to stay up late analyzing the problem and looking at the cure, and we've been looking at it from every which way.
As I said before,
yeah, you want to amputate.
It started from home, and if you don't correct that family family problem.
Problems, yeah.
Because there's a lot of damage home they are around now. You know. Majority of the home them damage.
That's true.
Because when it's, as I said before, when you have some mother when incident, there's 14-year-old coming with a dear phone, Kentucky, and money. Then I have the daughter when they get to family, they start involving the money and things, you know.
Yeah. But
So then take an example, same thing with the boy child. You can't see boy child come in with a lot of money, you don't ask him. Some of the mother them, some of the mother them, the daughter see them come with dick and them come with Harry. So it becomes a cycle.
yeah, that needs to be broken. That can only be broken in
And
the home.
if the corporate citizens and the prime minister don't solve this, we look all of us looking down to in a barrel and we beating a dead donkey.
Well, it's all hands on deck, and I think even you in your
As I said, corporate citizens and the government have to come together.
yeah, but are you a corporate citizen or you are an individual? Because I'm bringing you into the mix. You as a self-declared. Yeah, so yeah, well, I mean, you said corporate citizens, but I'm putting it wider. It's all of us, the individuals, the corporations, and the government. All right. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate your call.
Bless up.
Have a great day. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello, greetings.
Greetings, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been listening to the people talking, and reach a conclusion that most of us in Jamaica, we don't really think we move by trends and things that are in the media, you know? Like last week they were talking about the school in Tivoli, and everybody talk about that. We don't really cope with it. Anyway, I want to say, what's the purpose of the festival song? What's the purpose of it?
You're asking me, I have my own view of what it does for me. I don't know if there has been a declared consensus on the purpose of the song. Do you know it to have a specific purpose?
Yes.
What is the purpose you know it to have?
The purpose of this festival song from I was a child until now is to celebrate independence. Most of the songs is centered around the singers singing about independence, Jamaica, Aki and Salvage. Yeah, that's what it's centered around. If we are not independent, this thing should be scrapped 50 years ago. We don't need no festival song because we're not independent. I think about independent Jamaica. We waste some money and waste some time. We are not independent yet.
One of my favorite songs, Cherry Oh Baby, don't have a single word in it about Jamaica or independence or nationhood or patriotism or not even partying. It's a love song. So you are declaring
purpose.
But
the purpose of the festival song is to sing about independence. You can trace all the songs in front of the 60s.
No,
to know.
I just told you Cherry Oh Baby is 1971.
Yeah. And
closer to independence than even some of the more recent ones. You're giving it a purpose, and we should. And the conversation that Jamaicans should engage in is what is the true purpose of the song, and let that be the purpose based on what the government does. Because remember, it's not we declare the purpose. The government put on a thing, or they're continuing a thing, and the purpose can change from time to time. It can change. All of us are giving it the meaning that we want it to have.
They want to pull us out in the streets or the stadium and have something and talk about independence. We get riled up and talk about independence. I mean, we're not independent.
All right.
I don't think anybody can get you riled up.
Yeah.
We're not independent, so it's just a waste of money and time. And let me say this before I go. For the last 30 years, I've been watching these songs. Sometimes in the street where they are performing these songs.
And I thought you were so much younger. I didn't think you were watching anything for more than 25 years.
No, from a youth, coming up, the young people, they are not interested in no festival song. That's why it's not relevant. Relevant anymore.
Okay.
Young people, then wise up. They are foolish. Never think about Aki and Salvage.
That's an interesting point.
Aki and Salvage.
That's an interesting point as to whether it continues to have relevance. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate your comments.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi, Wayne. How are you today?
Giving thanks to Rastafari. I'm here thinking about the music now. When I got the festival music, where them band the bridging from out the place there.
Again, huh?
Right? Yeah. Right? Them band the music because they must say music a promote violence. Right?
They can't ban the music. They ban the performer.
Person.
Yeah.
All right then. I would ask still, come to the shows then. I shows them. Me and you, me grow up in a Kingston, and me get gun in my hand and all me ear, cock and squeeze, or the squeeze trigger. Me watch show and show teeth now for him gun, wall gun. It is not for shoot better. Want to the shows them, because the shows them full of so much violence and everything else to the music that go on. So why ban the music alone and not banding the shows?
All right,
like partial?
so the first thing is that they wouldn't ban the music, although you can. There are some jurisdictions where certain music can't be played on
Censored.
air, and if you play it even privately and it is overheard, you have issues. But every society sets its own rules and standards for public behavior and for dealing with material that could cite or incite persons into unlawful behavior. Music is definitely one of the things that can cause persons to just, behave excessively. So too are certain political speeches, statements, and so on. And it's not the music they ban. They will always seek to ban the performer if the performer is someone who, through either his energy or his words or those who follow him, can cause public disorder or unrest. Every country will do it in their own way. In Jamaica, you curse a bad word on stage and the corporal is up there ready to pull you off. And we've seen it done in some places and it happened for others, and it goes without any kind of blowback or penalty, because at the end of the day people are trying to maintain order in their society, public order. That's what they're trying to do. When it comes to the shows on TV, you know that shows are rated. There's regulation about what hour of the night certain things can happen. And they are expecting that a show that you're watching in the privacy of your home, parental guidance and supervision will prevail. So if I know that you love gun runnings and me see you overfeed yourself on gun movies, I as a parent must know to curb that or to make sure that you have the right wisdom. So it is very much a situation of respecting privacy in the home, respecting families' rights to set the rules for their children and so on. It places a burden on us to be very responsible in what we consume, both in terms of what we listen to, what we watch, and so on. We talk about fundamental freedoms a lot, Wayne, and respecting those freedoms mean we can't be too intrusive in how we set rules for when people are in the privacy of their home. But when them out there on a stage out in public and you see certain things, sure you can deal with it. A lot of the small islands don't like it much. They love reggae music, You hear it on the radio and you hear some things on the radio that you wouldn't hear in Jamaica. But if a performer who is known to carry the crowd to a certain point of frenzy comes there and behave a certain way, then can't come back.
Yeah, but look into it now.
Yeah.
All right. A man come to my country now. If my people they must have a certain mentality and him come with certain vibes, they're not supposed to make him carry them to certain friends.
That's why
something wrong with your something wrong with your people.
With your
their
own people.
mentality.
True. That's why I kept saying to the caller, you have to ask the Guyanese man why them a fire off them weapon when a Jamaican man is singing on stage.
Or them who get the weapon, the
When
Jamaican come
right.
and distribute them to everybody.
Right.
Everybody
But-
get a gun.
But your people are always gonna get the benefit of the doubt. So you're more likely gonna say, like, a lot of parents say, nobody would go with that child because of bad company.
more.
Him a go lead you astray. They never think that it's their own child who is doing the leading. They always think that is somebody
other
else.
person's
Yeah.
child. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Have another point?
Wayne, can you stay with us while we take the break? Or thank you,
yeah, maybe.
please. Yeah.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica. promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back, Wayne.
Welcome.
As the Bible says, keep them a misunderstand righteousness and judgment, You say even if big people are negative meditation within them out, within them privacy.
Yes.
As time go by, the negativity they are going to start come out from the front, So I say the negativity they are going to start manifest itself even at the little children them.
That's what Pastor was saying. That
So
it is our values that you see reflected in the culture and the music and the art and the food, and it is what we're doing in the privacy of our home that we put out. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see,
Yes.
sometimes I don't know what to say to the world, but I know the Bible, if you can humbly read the Bible, little by little, slow, but not really too fast. Read and analyze everything one by one. I'm praying for understanding it help us so much to understand where we are making mistakes. A lot of mistake is making, Look on all the cartoon the youth them are watch. A whole heap of things we look on, even comedies, a whole heap of things on shows and media. Really, if you understand righteousness, you know them things that stupidity and waste of time and waste of money and bad influence to the mentality of big people, much less little children. But as I said, them claim to them wise and them go mud. You know one more thing to say to them before me hang up though, before me hang up.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to talk to intellectuals, because for all the days of my life I've been talking to people who are that bright and educated. Since I call this program, I talk to some university people about two colleges and they talk of experiences and way. But as Solomon said in the Bible, get knowledge, but most of all get understanding.
Proverbs 4:7.
College and university and still lack the understanding of righteousness and justice and judgment.
True.
And that will still bring forth problems.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, Wayne. Bless up.
Blessing.
Take care of yourself and read in the Bible.
All right.
Respect the 10 commandments written in the Bible and prayer. Bless up.
All right.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning, ma'am and sir.
Good morning,
Morning,
my
sir.
brother.
How are you?
Because I'm trying to hold on. First thing first, I want to go into the culture part, but
Yes.
let us deal with the Honorable Minister of National Security.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you shut down is Junior colleague suggestion, me.
And if you think like I do, you would be a little curious that the junior would say such an outrageous thing. I think they were testing the waters.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm going about you say the politician, especially in Jamaica,
Yes.
they negotiate with them side when they are in power and no disrespect to both sides.
Yeah.
They negotiate where Omar Davis say, nothing strange. So they don't negotiate.
Of course.
And PR and certain ranking them bad man supporters to keep the peace when they are in government.
Sure.
Well, yes.
So we always trying a PF so.
Well, the way you do it, you see, is what is important. Because if we believe in the rule of law and we say a man is presumed innocent until proven guilty, then you can't approach him in a particular way and treat him as a convicted criminal when he has not had due process. So when he is your constituent, when he is a citizen and a community member and a prospective voter, you have to treat him with a certain level of respect. Where the junior minister went wrong, I think, was to now elevate the conversation to one where you're bringing in state power as a policeman when he's called to sit in a peace summit.
But police sitting out for peace summit all the while, and the police are wrong still, because the man them call peace, but them are the guns are still outstanding. So the police are fell on the job right there. So
well, so
you have reason to believe the man there will pack on. And the man them call they say they want peace. And not even the man them call them as some community people do it,
Yes.
And when they come along and you policeman sitting there meet, I know so the gun still outstanding and you're in that. By the time the police all drink some of the refreshment, call them place and them provide refreshment.
All right. So now you're saying the integrity of the process, just from past experience, is not such that one could even treat it as a reliable pathway to peace.
Yeah, and some of the politicians, in time can't get them one man to cool on. So many times them turn them over to the police,
Yes.
Well, remember that famous list? You remember that famous list?
List.
You remember that famous list? By the now
Yes, I remember
Edward
it. And everybody knows that gentleman, no turn over man to police so easy, I think could manage them, and couldn't discipline internally.
Yeah. So now you're also saying there's a history of mistrust and double dealing.
Yes,
So
politicians want Jamaica people better. The people them better, the politicians them would have to perform the job in the right and proper way.
Yes, well, we were talking about the transfer of power. If you take away the power from the politician and the people have it, then the people will use it.
When you see police, Colonel Macmillan, no disrespect to him, but you see them 12 man named already on the list. That was presented to Macmillan. Them and their family, when them are pray them for save a prayer for Macmillan family. If Macmillan was your Harvest Commissioner of Police, them brother they dead long time.
Yes. Yes, a judgment.
Yes.
There must be a judgment. Yeah.
Culture now, Miss Mom and Sir.
Yes.
I think you love the name Mom more than young lady, so I will call you Mom.
Why are you taking away my young lady stripes?
Yeah, culture now.
Yes.
Some people define it as sheer patterns of behavior and interaction, cognitive construct and understanding that are learned by socialization.
Yes, that's a good.
Pardon me?
No, that is a good summary.
Good definition, yeah.
Good, yes, okay. The gentleman was talking about Guyana and Jamaican artists. You can't prevent people from learning your culture once they're exposed to it or them see it, If they want to buy into it, there's no way you can prevent them from doing so.
True. We do a lot of that ourselves.
So they socialize us and decide to adapt some of our principles or culture. So they may, you can't stop them.
And I don't know that you can blame the Jamaicans either. I mean, you can do
That's the point.
things. You can do things to limit the exposure, but once it gone through the gate, it gone through the gate.
Yeah.
Can't unring the
Culture
bell.
just culture, yeah.
It is,
and I mentioned the church people past. I mentioned when the sacred artists when they don't do that.
Well,
Oh yes, he talked about gospel.
But I tell you something. This is my experience. I remember even as we talk about culture, there used to be a concert that a lot of us as young people went to in the 80s, 90s. And when they started to introduce reggae into the church, even DJ, I remember one concert that we had. And I know the guys, and they were doing, they were chanting, they were DJing. And you know what they did to them, my brother? They buckled them.
Oh, the church people. The church people throw a bottle on the
Yes,
DJ,
it was
the
plastic
artist.
buckles. Yes, man. We've seen that because it was something that. So I'm saying to you, when something is introduced into the system and you're not used to it, you're going to get a natural
It inspires
response,
a response.
to it. And but Yeah.
Yes, Pastor. I know you're a church man, right?
Yes, sir.
But in terms of the negative, is negative really joined the system late on the other? No, I went to a funeral sometime in April at an Adventist church funeral, and one of the officiants said word to the effect that it was not part of creation. In other words, all what he was saying, the original cause and effect, they never started. So you share that view, sir?
You're asking me if when that started? That's what you're
No,
asking
no,
me?
I'm asking when it started, because you and I don't know. All I'm saying, the gentleman in his opening remarks and trying to console the bereaved, he said word to the effect that death was not part of the creation.
The original creation, no, it wasn't.
That's an opinion. You know that.
Yeah. I say it wasn't. If you read it,
That's an opinion, Pastor. I know that.
you ask me a question.
And your answer is yes, you share that view.
Yes.
But it's an opinion. You and I are share, right?
Yeah.
So you just say it as an opinion, but you and I could know definitely if it start there.
Okay.
Because man commit is a whole, you know.
So why did you ask? Why did you? So why did you ask? Why did you ask Pastor that? Is it that you have a different viewpoint? You believe something different?
About what, ma'am?
The question you asked Pastor, whether or not
No,
cause and effect.
him said, I'm telling what I've been through, what I heard, but he's saying that he shared the view that was not part of God creation.
He agreed.
Look at use the word God now, put God in it now.
Yeah, so he agreed.
So I
with
don't
what you
share
heard.
him sharing, but I don't share. So I'm saying that only have mere views from him.
Okay. All right. Could have a long theological discussion on that, but we have
But
another call away.
all we are saying, Pastor, in my humble opinion, the negative and the positive entwine as so long as we are on earth here. So probably it may be different elsewhere. I believe in elsewhere, you know.
Okay, true.
In other words, I believe in an afterlife.
True, all right. Good.
So somehow we will learn in an afterlife. No, we're not meant nobody push it down your throat now.
Okay, it's for you to experience and learn about it.
In my humble opinion.
Okay, then.
But you and Mom and sir, you take care.
All right,
Thank
then.
you,
Thank
my
you for
brother.
calling.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Somebody made a point on the chat, which is in terms of the negotiations. You begin negotiations when all the guns are handed in. What do you think? No guns are out there.
No negotiation.
Yeah, no negotiations without handing in other guns.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
How are you, sir? How are you?
I'm good if you are.
I am good.
I am good. I am great. I'm wonderful.
Okay, good to hear that.
What about you?
I am very well.
Wonderful.
And I'm thinking of others as well. Trying to help wherever I can when help is needed.
Excellent. So what's on your mind this morning?
I'm listening to history this minute
Yes.
about that Cheerio Baby song.
Okay.
It's not really a festival song, you know. It should not have been.
Okay.
But I'm from way back, so there are some things that you might not have heard before. That song was not made for festival. It was made just as
It's a love song.
yes. It came out and it was it started to get very popular right away. And Byron Lee, who had to do with the production, withdrew it and enter it into festival, which was quite wrong.
Okay.
You know, in this country, depending on who you are and which politician you are
aligned to,
with, you can get away with a lot of things.
What about Toots and the Maytals, Sweet and Dandy?
No, I don't have anything on that. But let me just say that the same Cheerio Baby
Yes.
it caused some problems because, as you know, Tutsi song came second that year.
Which one was it?
And
Which song came second? What was that song?
I can't remember what it was, you know.
All
I
right.
remember that it was second. But the point I want to make is that Eric Donaldson was actually attacked because, you know, Toots had connection, French sound and all that, and a lot of those people felt that wrong was done, and they actually attacked him. And another history, the song was not an original by Eric Donaldson. There's one of our local.
Oh no, that was a bit of important history.
Yeah. Hopefully that caller will come back to us. I don't know. We
Before
lost the
we
call.
close
But
the show today. 'cause
good
it's
morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. We do have another
Hello,
caller on
good
the line.
morning.
Good morning, Neville.
Yeah, morning to your listeners and your valuable callers. You know, the morning connection have to consider a tour. You have to have a drive-through tour of the corporate area and broadcast one morning.
Yes.
There's a lot of your fans out here would like to meet and greet you.
The producer
No.
asked if you'll sponsor it. We would
No, it's
love
a
to do
serious-
it.
No, it's a serious thing, you know.
What do you think we're joking?
And you have to do it for the 60th anniversary.
Okay.
Yes, we do have some plans for that, Neville. But we
Yeah,
do want
at
sponsors
church,
to come on board.
Yeah, a church just buy out a radio station,
Yes.
a very popular station in Jamaica,
Yes.
and they're cutting off certain advertisement from that station.
Also,
Anything relates to gambling or any unethical behavior. So I don't know, but
So you're
there's a
saying
lot
it's
of advertising dollar
out there.
Well, it's a serious thing, you know.
No, that's true. It's an opportunity you're saying.
Yeah,
And it
and
is.
a lot of people losing their work at that station. So we take it one day at a time.
One
But what
day.
I want to talk to you about this morning is culture.
Yes, go ahead.
You know, it amazes me and it proves me right that before I die, I realize two things about Jamaica. We are living in an illusion. And this culture that we have, it will never fit into the digital world come 2050. Cannot fit in, and I'll tell you why. They're quarreling over the songs now. And it seems to me that the cabinet, members of the cabinet are making isolated decisions. And then when they follow up with the people, then that's when the whole cabinet meets. Is the tail wagging the dog of this cabinet. Because look here, you cannot have a cultural celebration of your 60th anniversary, you see?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we're listening.
And you don't have a budget in it to clean the cemetery of your ancestors. You talking about bringing Jankuno to tour the streets of Kingston and St. Andrew and to show the little children Jankuno. If they want to see Jankuno, they go on YouTube and look at Jankuno. They need to see their cemeteries clean. The ancestors have to be a full part of the 60th anniversary. And it is very symbolic because look at Maypen Cemetery. Maypen Cemetery is between the Zozo of Greenwich Farm and the Zozo of Denham Town.
Yeah, so
and it is beside Rima, Arnett Gardens, and Tivoli. If you clean that cemetery, you will be sending a symbolic message to all the people who live in these countries, in these communities.
So
and the gunman.
That could be an important move for community relationship.
A renewal.
Thank you. And paint up the cemetery in the color of Jamaica for your 60th anniversary. All the black people cemetery is the worst kept cemeteries in Jamaica. And you're talking about your running cultural ministry, Miss Babsy Grange. And another thing, Pastor. Pastor, you know, so you can't dead.
Go ahead.
No, death is an illusion, Pastor. It doesn't exist.
Pastor have eternal life.
And it's that fear that is driving our people, like say, because them afraid to dead, them afraid to talk certain things and talk up the things and afraid people come kill them. Afraid of what? We have a generation to protect, you know, they're doing step, you know, step hard, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, the school system get hard, you know, Pastor.
But we are equal to the task,
We're
my
equal
brother.
to the task.
We are equal to the task. We're rounding up the show now, Neville. So I thank you
Hey,
that you
let
are
me
the
tell you,
caller.
you see,
Yes.
my exam stress coming down soon. So I soon come on in my application for the 1660.
We look forward
But
to that.
you're going to have to have a road show. You're going to have a road show.
It's planned. It is
I'm
planned.
telling you.
It is planned.
And
We
you
do
will
need
get sponsors
support.
for the road show.
Well, please be a part of the vanguard. We do need the support. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm coming in to talk to your marketing department this week to put out some ideas.
All right, my dear. Thank you so much.
Yeah, all the best.
Have a great day.
You know, as we close off, we're not taking any more calls.
No, that was
the last call.
Yeah.
The point about death is an important one that I've had to reckon with as an individual in terms of being fearful of dying early out and then reconcile myself that for us death is a transition. A verse of scripture, Galatians 2:20 says, I am crucified. If you are crucified, you are dead. But the life you now live in the flesh, live by faith in the Son of God who died for you. And most people who have made a difference in the world have considered that existential threat in terms of death and what it means and have reconciled themselves to it. So people like my guy out of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, and so on. And Jesus himself, he says, you don't kill me, I give up my life. So we have to reconcile with that and it removes all fear.
I lay it down because I can take it up
back,
again.
yeah.
So the question is not really about death. I mean, I confronted that a long time ago. The question is about fear and suffering.
Yeah.
And the same thing that may give us concern about death, we end up with the same crippling, fearful response to things like DEBT, debt,
yes,
starvation, hunger, lack of money.
I shall not die, but live to declare.
Some people worry about childlessness. Some worry about having children.
So it's fear.
Some worry about being alone. Some worry about being married or getting rid of the husband or the wife. So it's fear.
Yes, fear.
It's about
Deal
fear.
with it. Yeah, and that is why.
And the answer to fear is love. Perfect love casts out all fear. That's the note on which we're ending. May I just say thank you to all the persons who have been supporting us online and on air. Thank you for the calls, for the perspective you take on things, for the patience that you show to us as we try to listen and navigate the issues. We spend time on it because how you think and what you say is going to influence what you do, and what you do is very important to the future of this country, including my future, the future of our children, our grandchildren, the future of mankind. So we are patient in the work that we do, and we certainly appreciate it when you're patient with us. We've got some love from some people online. It's really Sonny Blair. Thank you so much. Black and Proud, Mr. Basco, of course, Taki. Taki had some things to say about Cheerio baby. We're going to have more conversations about the celebration of the festival and the independence and the freedom and the coming together and the music and culture, what it means. We're going to return to the subject of culture in coming weeks because we know that in there is a lot of wealth that can turn things around for individuals as well as for the nation. And we're going to go back to where we started. Percy and I are coming hard up on our anniversary with this program. Do you know that?
Yes,
We're
it
a
is.
few weeks away from the first day we sat here. And so we're going to go back to where we started and see what gains we have made and how we can kick it up a notch for the coming season. Thank you all very much. Have a blessed day as we take it from Taki. Always tell us what good. So
Don't
thanks
buck
to
your toe.
those in the house, producer, Eden, Lloyd, the engineer. Thank you very much for being with us. And Pastor Percy, thank you. First day of your vacation and you're out of your bed at the crack of dawn and sitting here with us. It means that you really value what you're doing with us, and we thank you for giving it that. But we also gonna give you permission to, some greater self-care in the morning. Whatever that means.
Lord
Walk
bless
good,
her. Bless her.
everybody.
Walk good and don't buck your toe.